Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Twisted Tragedies. I'm Fearless Leader Elise. We have Tom as our guest today. You guys should all know Tom. And if you don't know Tom, he's former law enforcement and currently, actually, Tom, you tell them what you currently do. Tom's a biomedical engineer.
Right now I'm retired.
Well, what you were doing.
Yeah, I was a biomedical engineer, and then I took the civil service test, and then I did good on that. And they called for a list in Whitman. Um, I showed up for an interview. I got hired on the spot. Didn't know that was going to happen. I was a cop for 3.5 years, roundabout. I hated it. Went through the academy, the whole 9 yards. It's not what you think it is. So I was lucky enough to save up my money, open a computer company in '97, where I paid it, um, cemented everything. I've been blessed ever since. I mean, I don't know what to say. Had my mom as my secretary. She was running there. She was the face. So, and then I got bored of the computers. That place was all set, and then I went back to biomedical engineering. So what that is that fixes all the medical equipment in a hospital, like defibrillators, IV pumps, anesthesia machines, stuff like that. Anything's going to help a patient.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
You got to fix the good stuff so everybody can breathe. Yes, I see. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but Teresa says that she watched your thing this afternoon, Tom. Your video. All right. So.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, we got. It was just his. He made a video. Tom did a video earlier today. If you missed it, you can catch it. Do you have it on your personal page on Facebook, Tom?
I do.
YouTube too?
Yep. It's in all the groups.
All right. So yeah.
It's too hard to find.
Yeah, so you should be able to find it there. So I have an anonymous donor tonight that is going to match the first $50 in either donations or raffle tickets for the raffle. As you guys know, I am trying to get my husband to Worlds in Florida, and that we would have to leave on the 17th of October. So, and the Airbnb needs to be booked like ASAP. So the entire thing is worth $1,388.50, starting with a $200 gift certificate to Marabou Inn and Spa in Plymouth. And just like, so we're clear here, like they have so much, like steam rooms, massages, like hot stone, like they even do makeup, like they literally do everything. So even if you're like a guy and you're like, it's a lot of beauty products and some jewelry, like, hey, you can still take the $25 gift card to the Cheesecake Factory, eat there, go get yourself a massage, right? And still give all the rest of those high-end beauty products, skincare and makeup with the jewelry to like your niece or your girlfriend or whoever, and be like the best gift giver on planet Earth. Like somebody is going to really be, pretty excited to get that. Like whoever wins that, like I'm honestly jealous myself, but I have to raise this money quickly. So it's not going to be up for very long. So if you want tickets, they are 1 for $20, 3 for $50, or 7 for $100 on the raffle. And you can Cash App, Venmo. If you don't have either one of those, I do have PayPal. Just reach out to me because mostly everybody has, or Chime, but most people have Cash App or Venmo. And it's Skye, SKYE 3188. And if you want to read a little message while we're on here, you can always write one and we'll always read it. So, but yeah, the first $50 of anything will be matched. So that'll be helpful. That will definitely be helpful. So thank you to that anonymous donor for that, because it's trying to help, get Josh where he should be, and probably for a really good opportunity for him. So there's not a ton of new stuff in the case. I looked for a document dump. And I've been waiting on this document dump in the case since Friday, because Friday was the deadline for all of the discovery. And we haven't seen anything yet, which is unusual. Usually they'd wait until 11:30 at night on a Friday. That way, when they dump all the documents, it goes to the news cycle of the weekend, which not everybody watches. So they don't want to dump it Friday morning because then it's Friday's news cycle all day and everybody sees it. So they usually do like the sketchy, weird shit and dump it at night right before a weekend. That way it's only in the Saturday, Sunday news cycle, which isn't as prevalent and ongoing as the weekday news cycle. So I'm still waiting on that stuff. Like I'm checking and checking and checking and checking and checking because I want to see. And there's also, as we know, outstanding things for, Bev, who keeps taking everything under advisement, right? And there's like a bunch of shit still waiting to be, approved or denied by her because it's all under advisement. So I'm waiting on that stuff. I'm waiting on it. And the second I get it, you guys will get it. Like, also good news on that little girl that was missing. That 9-year-old, she was found. There's a suspect in custody. We don't know a lot, but we do know she was found, and she was found alive. Thank God. So that's good news there. The Brian Koberger case, they're still trying to have the indictment thrown out in case anybody wanted to know about that. Still trying to have the entire indictment thrown out in that case. But there is, things we should go over, like things that,
I saw one. I think it was one document I saw float around today. It was they approved
the ring.com. That was like days ago.
No, the DPW file.
Yeah, that was the other day. Yeah.
Okay. I just saw it and I was like, "Ooh, okay. Well, that's a good thing because that, I mean, you pull that in, that brings Lucky in,
Yep.
that brings his testimony in."
Yep. Well, I was talking to my husband about this earlier, and he's plowed for many years, and so the DPW thing had been approved already. They were just like basically saying like, "Hey, you owe us stuff by like now, like you need to give it to us." Like the GPS on all of the plows they want any contracts with any companies like by the yard. They want notes, emails, anything to do with that area, 34 Fairview, and any other routes over there. But all that, I was talking to my husband right before the show, and I was on the phone with Kristen, and we were talking about it. And literally, I've sat in a plow probably thousands of times at this point throughout my life, from the time I was 18 until now.
Sorry.
And you literally, I know it gets like your butt gets numb, your back hurts, you got to drink a lot of coffee. Like it is what it is, right? Like, and we're talking about it, and he's like, I mean, that's going to be a good witness. Why? Because a plow driver, especially for as long as Lucky has done it for, because I've heard people say like, oh, well, he only has to look to the right or to the left, whatever side he's pushing the snow. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. They have to look right, left, front, back, side to side. They're looking for the curb. They're looking for reflectors. They're looking for fire hydrants, mailboxes. Like, so literally, if you're looking for a curb, right or left, or people, you have to make sure nobody's crossing in front of you using their snowblower. Because I come out in the middle of the night to shovel, so other people do too, because they want to keep up with the snow by the time they have to leave in the morning. So people are out there in the middle of the night shoveling. You'll see them. And so you have to make sure that like one of those people aren't going to walk behind the plow or in front of the plow. And so you have to watch. You just have to. And so they literally watch. And if you're going to look for the curb, which is one of the first things they look for, because if you fuck up that plow blade, either you're out like 20, 30 grand if it's your blade, or more if it's a bigger blade, or your boss is, and he's not going to be very happy. So you don't want to fuck the blade up. So you're looking for that curb, and looking for that curb, you would have seen right level. You're looking down at the grass. There's no way you would have missed a 6'2", 200 and something pound body.
No. It's funny. There's certain things that come back.
Yeah.
I totally forgot when I was a reserve, I had some money, so I bought a big dump truck with a big plow, and I used to go pick up this girl, and she'd jump in the passenger seat, and we'd go plow people's driveways all night.
Yep.
Blazing snow. I mean, you have to be on the ball when you're driving a truck, especially a dump truck that is it's it's a different animal. It doesn't stop.
Nope.
It, it'll hit something and keep going, and you'll
Yep.
feel it. Like you have to know where you are, legit, where the plow is to the street. That you have to know where that edge is.
Yep.
Because you can't clip a mailbox. I mean, it's not.
Well, the city would have to pay for it. That's the thing. If you clip a mailbox and you work for a city, that homeowner is going to call the city and say, "Hey, you hit my mailbox," because I've had it happen. And the city has to come out and replace it. Sometimes they'll try to tell you they're not going to come out and replace it until, the spring. Like, no, you're going to replace it because I can't get my mail without it. The city has to come and replace it and pay for it. And like, you're going to get a reaming. Like,
but it says a lot about the people that do plow, about how little damage there are to the amount of mailboxes that there are. I mean,
right.
These guys are a legit skill. I mean, they're threading the needle with a big, huge piece of steel right in front of them, pushing.
Right.
And
that's right.
They're not stopping. So I remember plowing. So when you're in a truck, you definitely are able to look down and look into people's yards. And with that said, there's also can we have a prayer for a friend of mine real quick? She's kind of going through a tough time, and the plow thing made me remember. So I just want to just take a second. So
yeah. What do you give?
All right. Thanks. That's all. She's not alone. So
no, she's
yeah, these plow drivers, they are legitimate professional drivers. They have to have CDL licenses. They have to have air brakes. They have to, do the DOT physical, drug testing. They have to stay on top of everything. CPR card, blah, 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 blah. Everything that they make you go through just to be able to drive a truck that has air brakes.
Right.
So, that's, again, a different level truck. You're even higher up. You better view, brighter lights. I mean,
I'm seeing a copy of what Nick posted right now. So what it says is, it's about the stuff for Discovery, and it says, copy of Massachusetts State Police CERT member notes do not exist. Copy of Canton PD member notes do not exist. Copy of Massachusetts State Police report case number, blah, 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 2 pages. Copy of Massachusetts State Police case number, blah, 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 number 78 with attached photos, 4 pages. Okay, so that's 6 pages total we got right here. Copy of video and photos related to Mass State Police report number 78, 1 disc. Copy of recopied grand jury exhibits, 1 disc. And then it says copy of notes of Trooper Michael Proctor, 53 pages. Copy of notes of Trooper Matthew Dunn, 3 pages.
Yeah.
And it says copy of notes Trooper Jeffrey Kowalski, 11 pages. Copy of notes Trooper Christopher Moore, 7 pages. Copy of notes Trooper Zachary Clark, 1 page. Copy of notes Trooper John Fanning, 2 pages. Copy of notes Trooper David DeKikio, 6 pages. Copy of notes Trooper Yuri Bukaknik, 33 pages. But again, this starts at number 9. So I'm not seeing where number 1 through 9 is on this though. I don't know. It only starts at 9. So I don't know what numbers 1 through 9 are on this.
Are those officers from the CERT team?
I'm assuming. It doesn't say. It just says that's it. What I read is that's it. That's all it says. And then it said, from the Commonwealth, respectfully, Michael Morrissey. That's what it says. So, I mean,
respectively,
I'm only seeing the first page. The second page. It'll be showing me the second page when I bring it up. But hey, Timothy, by the way, you're totally welcome, dude. Seriously. But
give me an officer's name.
Let me see here.
Let's ask Google.
Then we're gonna have to ask. Oh, it says image 2, so he must have posted 2 images. Maybe I'm only seeing the second one that he sent. Hold on, I have to reopen it. Okay, Trooper Proctor Matthew Dunn, Dunne.
Yes.
Jeffrey Kowalski or Christopher Moore, Moore. Zachary Clark. John Fanning.
Oh, I'm doing something here. Let me check this guy.
I mean, there's a lot of them. So who knows at this point? Like, the plow driver saw everything, which is nothing. That's the thing, right? Plow driver saw everything, which is absolutely nothing. Because, I mean, he saw the Ford Edge, which, again, whose Ford Edge is it? Like, I mean, I think we have an idea about whose Ford Edge it is, but the cops didn't bother to go find out whose Ford Edge it was, right? Like, yeah, I can only see one page because it says image 2. It starts at 9. I don't know if anybody else has the other part of it, and I just didn't see it. I just looked real quick because I did not see that before I was preparing for the show. So I don't know.
Plow driver saw everything. He absolutely did.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they have to come out and they didn't replace it. Yeah. Well, I had to fight with the town of Randolph to replace mine. So there's that. Like, literally had to fight with them to do it. But like, they hit it. So yeah, that's your job. Like,
there's your friend right there.
Yeah.
See that link? Click the link.
What link?
In the chat.
Oh, hold on.
To the right.
Yeah, I see it. Let's see. What do we got here, guys? What do we got?
Let's see your face.
All right. Okay, hold on. Let me share this with you guys. Hold on. Share it. Hold on. Let me get it up here. All right. So this is God, for the love of God. It says dynamic duo Trooper Chris Moore from the Mass State Police Ted Williams Tunnel Barracks took a trip to the front line on the midnight shift last night to pay tribute to some real superheroes at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Met up with his wife, Christina Moore, to bring some light refreshments to her and her coworkers in the cardiac surgery ICU floor.
Okay.
So this is one of the guys whose reports we have. I mean, I don't understand how it's really a good deed to bring your wife stuff, but okay, cool. Whatever.
You know what I see?
All right.
I see like 300. I see 300,000 a year right there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Like, of course.
And they're bringing donuts to people that make $300,000 a year to the cardiac care, to the surgeons. Whoa, these surgeons, cardiac care surgeons. Speaking about, I have a little experience like with this type of a thing. Them freaking guys are the whiniest people in the freaking world.
I don't doubt it.
They're so particular. It's you can't change a pencil and they freak out. It's and you can't argue with them.
Of course not.
They make a lot of money because they don't make mistakes. These people, they're so smart.
Yep.
They're smarter on a different level. It's hard to communicate with them because they're so smart. And they're bringing them coffee and donuts. Okay, well, we want them to stay awake, so I'm okay with the coffee. The donut, probably not a healthy thing to be given.
Okay with the coffee.
You're giving a cardiac surgeon, you can give him donuts? That's brilliant.
Guys.
Brilliant.
You guys.
Nice.
I just got a friend request from D&E Albert. I fucking shit you not.
Right. Invite him onto the show.
I shit you not right now.
Invite him.
I literally
invite him.
Teresa sends $7.77.
That's $14.
She said, hi, put this. Oh, why did it come off? That's an interesting friend request.
Jennifer.
Wherever you need it most. Thank you, Teresa. Again, tonight, guys, the first $50 of either donations or raffle tickets are being matched by an anonymous donor. They would rather remain anonymous, which is fine. But so your raffle tickets, don't remember the whole entire raffle is on the Facebook page of Twisted Tragedies, and on my personal one. And one ticket is $20. You get 3 for $50 or 7 for $100.
No,
and it's a really good price.
Wait a minute. What? If someone buys a ticket for $20 and that gets matched, that's 2 tickets.
It is
right.
Yeah,
so they get 2 tickets.
That's right.
The first person to do that gets 2 tickets.
The first 2 people, because if it's a $50 match, unless you buy 3 tickets and then you would get 3 more if you spent 50 because the other 50 would be matched. So yeah.
Listen, I don't math.
I just mathed.
I don't. I give it up. I gave it for Lent. I don't do math
Well,
anymore.
it is. It is. Well, So, yes. Let me see. Bukaki. I do think maybe he ends up getting in trouble.
The more I think about it, the more that it's really upsetting me that he would actually try to intimidate someone that was doing they're doing God's work, like what we're doing. We're going to contribute somehow, some way to Karen getting out, right? That's the goal here. Get
Right.
Karen free. Period. Dot. Whatever we got to do. Speaking about, has everyone got the tickets to the Halloween event?
I have, because you got me one.
He was gonna cut that off. I think it was gonna get cut off at 200, and he made it to 250. He had to do something.
250.
Yeah, he made it to 250.
Shout out to Amy who just gave me the first page. Here it is. Commonwealth's notice of discovery. Now here comes the Commonwealth in the above caption matter and indicates that of this date, the following discovery materials have been provided to the defendant through defense counsel. 1, copy of Massachusetts State Police photos of infotainment and telematics removal from Lexus SUV. Okay.
All right. So
one disc.
That's them destroying the console.
Right. 1 disc and 34 pages. Copy of Massachusetts State Police Special Emergency Response Team CERT. Administrative journal extract, 1 page.
Dispatch log.
Cool. Copy of Massachusetts State Police CERT personnel status report, roster of responding members, 1 page.
Who's on call?
Yep. Who was there? Copy of Massachusetts State Police CERT alert information, Canton search, 6 pages. Copy of Massachusetts State Police CERT map data GPX file with associated mapping software for viewing, 1 disc.
Does it say what type? Is it
Nope.
GIS? Does
it GPX. It's a GPX file.
Okay.
That's what it says.
That's good.
Copy of BODE technology policy regarding observation of testing procedures by third parties, 1 page. Copy of Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab Forensic Service Division submission report to UC Davis Veterinary Genetics Lab, 3 pages, and copy of Mass State Police Crime Lab DNA testing report, 4 pages. I find it extremely funny that you would have the Canton PD and the Mass State Police have no notes whatsoever. None. There's none of them exist. That's what they say. Does not exist. So you're telling me none of your officers from Canton or the Massachusetts State Police took any notes?
Time out. When the 2 officers rolled up, they observed a scene, which then dictated the calling of their sergeant or the detective, which then dictated calling of the chief, which then dictated calling of the state police. As the whole chain of command, the whole 911 process, the call, that whole process tree. There's no notes for that?
Right.
Stop. No. There has to be. What, the 2 cops that rolled up on it and found John O'Keefe lying there, like they don't get to write a report? There's no report written about that. They just went home for the night, punched out and went home? No. No. Negative. No, those reports have to exist. They can't not exist.
Well, they're saying there's a report, but they're saying like,
no.
Proctor has like 53 pages, but like there's no notes of anything from Canton or the Mass State Police, which I find extremely hard to believe because in every investigation there are notes. Where are these notes? Like, where are the notes? Like,
what about when they brought the car into the Sally Port? Who was there? What about the notes about that? Where's the inventory list?
I mean, it's
where are the photos? Are the photos part of those discs? Do we know that? Yeah,
there is a disc. There's 1 disc.
Yeah.
With photos. It says there's 4 photos on one of them. So it's like, we're not really getting shit. Literally. They're saying there isn't a lot there, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of that stuff they already gave, and it's stuff we already had, or,
it's probably a copy of the pictures in color. instead of
Right.
photocopied pictures. They probably just copies of the originals.
Right. Well, they have notes. I mean, I'm not buying for 1 second they don't have the fucking notes. Like,
Well,
there's notes.
think about this. There is the strategy that some people use.
Bingo.
They bury them with paper, right? They bury the person with 1,000 documents that they
Yeah.
can't even. They bury them with everything.
Yep.
That's not the case in this because they have nothing to bury her with. Right?
So, for instance,
like
Tom.
there's nothing there.
Right. But for instance, when you were a cop, you just magically didn't write notes or reports. You just went home and was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it today. Like, no, of course not.
You have to write a report about a car accident, any interaction with anybody.
Exactly.
And nowadays, the minute you activate your body cam, you have to go back and transcribe that. You might as well hit CC, like closed caption on the video, and then transcribe it. It's verbatim from the body cam. So that's why body cams are good. It takes away anything because it's verbatim.
Right. Well, that's, and that's yeah, exactly.
Is the body cam footage included? Do you see anything in that?
No, doesn't say anything about body cam footage whatsoever.
Any video footage? Does it say any video footage?
It says there's discs. So we got.
No. Listen, I'll give you 1,000 discs. Put 100 files on it that mean nothing.
I know that, but they don't say
video.
whether it's
No
a
video
disc of a video or if it's a disc. They don't say. It doesn't say.
Why this?
Snatch and twat. Are we related? You guys are fucking hilarious. Has to be a crime scene log by Canton too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Who was there? What did they see? Who they interact with?
Where's the chain of custody? Where is it?
How do they know Karen Reed said what she said if there's no notes on it?
Exactly. And you have to remember, some of these reports weren't written until weeks or months. Months. We're talking months later. They didn't file them for months or weeks later. I'm sorry, what?
There can't not be reports.
Yeah, I know.
When every officer who showed up at that scene, even to stop traffic, everybody has to write a report. I was dispatched to this scene at this time to stop traffic at this intersection for this reason, for this long. I left at this time. Traffic's flowed as normal. End of story. That has to be something. It's a log file, an entry. It's what you pay tax dollars for.
Well, and he's like,
can't not be there.
Right. There has to be a ton of reports just by Canton PD alone. Exactly. But they're saying there's no notes whatsoever, which I'm sorry, but there's notes. Where are they? You're not going to tell me there's no notes at all. I'm not, that just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
It can't. It can't.
I don't think, Jennifer, it makes it worse for Karen. I actually think it makes it better. No, it's not. It makes it better because it's just not logical for there not to be notes, right? And so
you can't get this. You can't get to Karen as a suspect, even a suspect, without notes. You can't get there. She's free as a bird. There's nothing that says that it was even her. It was the freaking Ford Edge that did it.
Well, here's the thing.
Why aren't we looking for a Ford Edge that hit him? How do we know the Ford Edge didn't whack him?
Right. So
walking home.
We don't, and that's the thing.
That's who was going to give him a ride home. That's who hit him. Hello. Right.
Well, here's the thing, right? I reached out to Jill Daniels yesterday, and I invited her on the show. No, I'm serious. Because I've said this many times. There have been people in my comments.
Did you offer a box of wine?
I did not. I offered her to come and talk because there have been many people in the comments who are like, well, it seems in other places that you're not allowed to have a differing opinion. No, let's hear the differing opinion. I would like to hear it. As long as you want to do it in a respectful way, I'll be respectful to you. You'll be respectful to me.
They don't even got to be respectful to me. I'll hear everything. I've been disrespected by the best of them. I don't even care about that part of it. I just want to hear.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah,
let's hear it. Right? We haven't heard anything, right, of substance.
No, I don't hear nothing. I don't hear nothing.
She said no, it's fine, which is fine. But
hey, you know what I heard? I heard they got a
What?
screenshot of nothing. That's what I heard.
A screenshot of nothing?
I'd love to see that piece of evidence, like, entered into evidence. Because notice it's not entered into evidence. It's something that the Boston.com reporter saw. That's it. That doesn't prove anything. You know? No.
Well,
They got a phony freaking screenshot. That's all they got. Colin
well, I
was in the
mean,
house. Remember? Colin
listen,
wasn't in the house. Now he's in the house.
I blew up that screenshot and it's distorted, which tells me that it's either copied, like photocopied, right? And then posted online, or something's been moved around, because it's when you zoom in, you can see the distortion, and that doesn't normally happen. So I don't know. I haven't been able to verify it or anything, but I've tried, right? But again, that doesn't really tell us much. Like, let's hear something from someone else from the other side. Like, I am my own show. This is my show. This is Twisted Tragedies. This is my own show. My rules apply here. Not everybody else's, not someone else's show, not everyone else's show. My rules apply here. And I would like to hear from people on the other side. So that applies to anybody from that side that would like to come on and talk or debate this case. Let's do it. We can do it in a civil manner. Let's do it.
Listen, again, it's not even the civil manner. It's like, just say something. Like,
Anything.
something.
Yes, it would, Kevin. It would exactly show where every single person in the house was. But Trooper Proctor bungled the geofencing data twice. First, he only asked for Android phones. And second, he asked for only the 28th to the 29th. So he bungled it twice. We have mostly Apple phones in that house. So how's that going to help when you're asking for Android devices?
Also, I think I read somewhere in one of the documents that he requested that all response come back through him and him only. Like, he was the only point of contact in for the return on what he did send out. I remember reading that somewhere, and I can't find it again, but it was definitely somewhere that he was the only person. Like, he flagged that just for his eyes only.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, there's just so much, like, and so this comment that I just pulled up, any evidence, and we've talked about the chain of custody before, has to be collected in here to documented chain of custody rules and forms. Problem being is we're not seeing where the fuck the chain of custody is. There apparently doesn't have a chain of custody in this case. They just don't like chain of custody. They don't like, actually taking evidence the way they're supposed to. We got solo cups. We got clothes on the floor right next to a trooper's feet. And then, we got the microscopic taillight pieces that are now, you're saying, are on John's clothes, but again, your feet are standing right next to his clothes. Like, it's a fuck show. It's a fuck show.
Let's go back up. You ready? What if they fruit of the poisonous tree? What if they throw the entire vehicle out? Gone. Can't use any part of that vehicle as evidence. Now what do you got?
Nothing.
That's what the process.
The taillight's the only thing that they think that they have. Like,
if they don't have chain of custody of that vehicle, which obviously they do not, the timeline for that vehicle is all messed up. Proctor was with it alone. We can almost prove that 100%. That's also chucked. The vehicle's gone. Chain of custody gone. Rules of evidence out the window. It doesn't get admitted. No part of that. None of that gets admitted. No vehicle pieces, no parts, no taillight, no infotainment system, no nothing.
Well, the problem with that is if we have, Canoni and she keeps on keeping on the way she is, I don't think they're going to throw out much for the prosecution. Maybe they throw out some things the defense wants to bring in and say, no, that's not going to be allowed at trial. But I don't think they throw the car out, unfortunately. I wish they would, but I don't think they're going to. Jennifer's asked a good question
out about the flashcards. Come on. If she's already freaking out to Mr. Little about that.
I know.
Already?
The chalks.
Wait till the trial comes.
I know. The chalks. So Jennifer says, do you think when they go to trial, all this evidence about cell phones and ring cams will still be omitted? I think they allow it in because, again, it's evidence, right? But again, it's part of the defense. It's part of the defense's defense. So it would be shitty if it wasn't allowed in. it's part of the defense's defense. But again, even the prosecution is trying to use it to some extent, but they're trying to distort what is clearly there that you can see in the data. The problem is when the data expert, and I will say Garino, because not only did he miss things, as you know, in this case, but he missed it in the Sandra Birchmore case as well. So he's not a very good data expert. Either that or he's covering for his buddies. I don't know which one it is, but either way, it looks real shitty. But Richard Green is the data expert, like not the. He is the data expert. Okay. So I'm almost positive what you're going to hear from him is what he pulled from the phone, right? Like from the phone. So we got calls and whatever, but we only have one phone, right? Like we need all the phones, or at least the geofencing data to show where everyone was, to definitively say this person was here, that person was there, this person was not here. Can't say any of that until we have geofencing. Where is the geofencing data? Like,
so guess who's going to be wrapped up in that geofencing data?
well, they can't have a trial without the things being submitted, Jennifer. So the
First
trial
off,
doesn't happen until every single thing that either the defense is asking for be turned over to them is turned over. So even if they have to push the court date back, they will if it takes too long, because everything legally has to be handed over to the defense, exculpatory evidence that they've been asking for. Everything they've been asking for has to be given to them. Has to. That's the law.
And when it comes to data, that's an argument that's going to, I think, yet to come. What data gets included and what data gets excluded? All data happened. Data is a result of an action. That's all it is. It records an action. Whatever we do, you go hit the keyboard, you wake your laptop up, that's an action. There's 50 things that happen. Everything is logged. You just hit one key and there's cascade of other things that all get logged as
it's keystrokes. Every time you hit something,
it's
data. Keystrokes.
So
every keystroke is recorded.
So do you add the actual, say, all right, they turn the laptop on at this time, or do you add the other 50 processes that happen in the background as evidence, as data? Because all that is data.
I mean, it depends.
You have to argue when it comes to data, what you're going to allow. Are you going to allow this cell phone data and not allow another cell phone? Because you can't allow Apple Health data and say it's unreliable.
But that's what the prosecution's arguing, right? And again, I want to correct people, because some people think it's the watch. There was no Apple Watch. It was his phone. The Apple Health data is from John's phone, not a watch.
The phone went up and down.
Yep. 3 flights of stairs. They say 88 steps, and then another 32 or 82, and then 33. Whatever it was.
Try it out. Listen, try it out in your house. Try it out up and down your solid stairs a couple times and see what your phone does.
Yeah, exactly. They use geofencing, finding the little girl across 3 counties. That's what they did. They used geofencing.
Bingo.
Geofencing is literally the most, like if you watched the trial for the Murdaugh trial, they could tell you where he was pacing back and forth because of geofencing. Like that's like
people don't realize, like, they have a digital fingerprint that is their own fingerprint that is undeniable. Like,
right.
But they don't realize that of every person in that house there's a completely digital fingerprint for each individual person in that house. That's what makes geofencing perfect. You can tell exactly who's who in the house. This is you. 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 Unless Colin's looking up makeup at this time at night, because that gets logged. It's all there.
Well, here's the thing, right? The guy who like helped create geofencing has said like he wants people to stop using it, and not because it's not accurate. He wants them to stop using it because in the hands of untrained individuals, it can be read incorrectly. Like, and that's the problem, is he's seeing it being read incorrectly by people who are very untrained. And like, you know, and if you guys haven't caught the Microdots channel over there,
my word. Would I love to get in touch with them, man.
Great animations and stuff over there. You should check it out. Absolutely 100%. Like, shout out to Microdots. You did a great job on those. Like, I'm not that talented with that kind of stuff, but I could do this. But I can't make animations. I can't do it.
Man, he can. Wow.
Yeah, that's another thing. Proctor did claim, like, tell them that the reports be given to only him. Only him. When he applied for the geofence, it was only to be given to him.
Yep.
That's not,
nobody else. That's wrong. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Maybe a DUI test I can see like a medical test, how you get sent out blood work and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
can see how only the arresting officer would want to know, because that's part of
Right.
his report. That's his evidence until it's given to the next step. It's still his. He's
Right.
responsible for it.
Right.
His name's on it.
Well, that's how it works usually, but usually they don't write on it like you only give it to me. Like usually the company knows like that if it's an officer who's applying it for it, that it goes to that person who applied for the geofencing data. And yeah, he did. He changed the time. That's what we're talking about. On the second one, he bungled the time. It was supposed to be from like
Wait a minute. He made a
whatever on the
mistake?
28th until I
Wait a
think
minute.
first or
Mr.
something.
Perfect. Mr. Perfect made a mistake.
No, he didn't make a mistake because he did it twice. The first time he only was applying for Android phones when you know most of them are Apple phones. The second time you changed the amount of time and lowered the amount of time.
Can you do me a favor? Can you read that list again? Because like I can't process that still. That's all they got.
Here's the thing. Give me evidence, right, Kevin? Like I am an intelligent human being. Okay. Very intelligent human being. And I know how to read evidence. I also know how the court system works. I worked in corrections. Like I'm not an idiot. Okay. And from what I am looking at, there's no possible way on God's green earth Karen is guilty. Okay. So, but they claim the only thing we've heard from them is it doesn't matter to them whether she's found guilty or not. Well, if it doesn't matter to you, then you don't think she did it. Like I want to hear the answers to these. Like, give me an answer. Give me an explanation.
I'll give you an answer. You ready for an answer? Here's your answer. All of us.
We don't know, Teresa.
We invest the 30, the 40 minutes it takes to read an article and think about it and whatnot. We invest that time into the case. We've done that from the very beginning. We've come from the beginning, and we've all along the way, we've looked at everything. We've saw what's been reported, and we've all looked at it. We've all had time to process it. Now the stuff that's coming is just new stuff that we're looking and saying, you don't have any like responding officers reports. Like how
I mean,
Helena Rafferty has some explaining to do, because that is bullshit. There's no way in this world those responding officers did not write a report. Guess what? The EMT people had to write a report.
Everybody has to write a report. Everybody has to write a report. Like
how can there not be any? No way. No way. They say computer problem, computer malfunction, lost it, shit like that. Listen, I volunteer my time right now. I'll find that fucking data. I'll find it. Guaranteed. I promise you I can find that data.
Chris is right. Everything he's touched is screwed up. Why does he still have a job? That's a very good question, because he's done well in other cases. Trooper Proctor has done the correct thing in other cases. So I don't.
How do we know that? No. We don't know he's done the right thing.
When he did the reports in other cases, you can look at them. He did it the way you're supposed to do it, right? No, I don't know if he did X, Y, or Z behind the scenes, but what I do know is that he did the report the way you're supposed to. So it's very unusual that magically all of a sudden in this case, all policies and procedures were thrown out the fucking window, like they didn't exist. That is not normal, right? Like not normal at all. You know, and I don't underestimate Bev at all and her ability to be an idiot, because I've seen.
Time out. What judge is known as Auntie Bev?
Yes, well, yes, we know. That's what we're talking about.
Stop. Stop.
None.
Isn't that a little messed up?
Well, yeah, that's why the defense said, "Hey, you need to recuse yourself," because even the look of that, the sound of that,
she can't hear that herself, right? Her ears aren't. That doesn't fathom in. She can't. Like, doesn't process.
Of course, it processes. She just doesn't care, obviously. And yes, victim's clothes are on the floor of the hospital, and then in his office for 2 weeks. Why did it take you that long to enter the evidence? What are you doing with it for that long? You have it, you bag it, you put it into evidence. What in the world would take you weeks to put it into evidence? Like, I'm just sorry. That's utterly ridiculous. Like, and that's another thing. Their witnesses aren't credible because their witnesses.
No.
Their witnesses literally screw up their own theory. The witnesses screw up the prosecution's theory and contradict the prosecution's theory. So I don't understand where they're going with that. I really, really don't. Like, yeah, that's another thing. When they see, I don't know if they allow that in though. I don't know if they allow in that Guarino called Celebrate, like basically, and was like, "Hey, I need you guys to tell me whether this, and this is right, or whether this is what I'm looking for." I don't know if the judge lets that in. Maybe the judge says it's procedural to double, triple check. And like, I can see her trying to use that as a ploy to say, oh, well, we're not going to let the jury hear about that. That's where, you got to be careful with some of these things, because some of these things are not going to be heard by the jury. Like, the jury's only going to hear what the judge allows in. And that's people's backgrounds, things that happened to them in the past, any charges they may have had. Some of that stuff's not going to be allowed in. Some of that stuff is not, the jury's not going to be allowed to hear it. And so that also puts, more pressure on the defense to be able to find another way to either fight to have it included, or to find another way to prove it that could be or will be included, one of the other. And so, yeah, the rest of the puzzle pieces do lie with the ATF agent, and there's stuff to work at 2:30 in the morning after that. So yeah, there's that.
No, stop. Did Michael Proctor keep John O'Keefe's belongings in his clothing in his office for 2 weeks?
I don't know where he kept it, but he didn't enter it into evidence for weeks.
Okay.
2 or 3 weeks. The clothes.
Let me explain something to you, okay? Part of my job as a biomedical engineer, I had to go around and measure the temperature of all these different refrigerators and coolers. They had to be certain degrees below temperature. Certain samples have to be certain temperatures below.
Right, blood and everything else, yeah.
John's clothing would have had active DNA on it and active samples. Active. If John got into a fight and popped somebody and gave someone a bloody nose and whatnot, that transference, that blood. But guess what happens to that when you leave it outside in the open air?
Yeah, I know.
It dies. Blood dies once it hits the air.
It coagulates.
It's gone.
Can't use it as a sample.
So he intentionally destroyed the samples that were on John O'Keefe's clothes by keeping them in his office. Is that what I read? Because if that's the case, I'm like next level pissed, because that is intentional. He fucking knows DNA breaks down after a certain amount of time. He knows it has to be refrigerated. That's why they make these friggin' sample refrigerators. It's getting me upset. They allow them in incompetence, because it's beyond incompetence right now. It's bullshit.
But it doesn't. They don't say.
It's intentional fucking with the evidence.
Well, the problem is we don't know. Did they? They don't. It doesn't say. It doesn't say that they swab the clothes and send those samples off, and then did he hold the clothes for 2 weeks? It doesn't. We don't know. All we know is he didn't enter the clothes themselves into evidence until a couple weeks later. So maybe that time was them swabbing it. I don't know. But what I do know is it normally doesn't take that long for you to enter something into evidence, no matter what it is. But we do not know if they swabbed the clothes for blood or semen, or, like they normally do in any other case. They do bodily fluids and, the dog.
Stop. My temperature reading that I put on that refrigerator at that time is what they use to reference the temperature these samples are kept at, so that they're viable, so they can use them in a court case.
Yes, I'm aware of that. But what I'm saying
is Proctor.
We don't know what the holdup for the couple of weeks was.
That process of entering it into the lab, into the refrigeration, into the sample thing, that is a chain of custody. There's definitely people that sign along that way.
Of course.
In there. If that's not included in those documents, that is a massive fuck up on the state police of Massachusetts problem. Like
massive. They've already massively fucked up over 700 times.
This is bigger by not keeping that evidence proper. this is bigger than anything that's ever happened yet in this case, because this is Proctor intentionally holding on to that so that sample will break down before it gets entered into evidence. Do you understand like this? You
Yes,
see what I'm
I'm
saying, right?
aware, but again, we don't have that information. Only the
Right,
defense has it.
right.
The prosecution, I don't have that information. So
No,
I
no,
don't know what I did with it.
but on
I
that
don't
disc,
know if it was brought to the lab first. I
I,
don't know. We don't have that information.
I just pray that whole chain of custody for that sample is there. Otherwise, it's like the library footage. Delete,
Yeah.
because
Well,
you just deleted the entire of any possible DNA sample that could have come off that.
so yes, Jay, it is pretty telling because I would be handing my phone over like, please clear me, thank you. But I mean, again, I can't say what other people would or wouldn't do, but I mean, I'd be handing my phone over, that's for sure. Like, I'd be handing it over. I'd say, here you go. Like, come on.
If you did nothing, we've said it how many times? If you did nothing wrong, you just give them your phone,
Just hand it
right?
over.
Just give it to
Right.
them, and they give it right back. I know this personally. It happened to a friend of mine. They took this person's phone for a day.
Right.
They can do that.
Yes. So yeah, Teresa's right. What they are supposed to do and what they did are two totally fucking different things. We do need to lower our
Okay,
expectations,
listen.
unfortunately, because yeah.
No, what they can do and what they did, because they can
Well,
do things that they just don't didn't.
they
I don't.
didn't.
I
Mhm.
Man, this case will be bigger than anything that New England has ever seen. This is like the new teapot, the new tea revolution thing there. The Tea Party. That this is what this is going to end up being if all these people end up going down. If this is true, man, you're going to have a lot of angry people out there. If that
So
is the case,
right. So that's the thing, right? Like Rafferty is mute at this point, and I mean, people have requested that she talk in public, and they've also requested that the select board make her talk in public, and neither of those two things are happening.
well, she
Okay,
had no problem talking in public at the select board meeting
but
that
she
time, right?
wanted to say what she wanted to say because she wasn't going to take any questions. That's one thing, right? Now, when the people of Canton are saying no, 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 she works for you, select board, and you work for us. So we want you to tell her that she doesn't have an option. There's no option because they try to say, oh, well, we'll ask her. And somebody was like, no, no, you won't ask her. You'll tell her because she works for you and you work for us. And we have a right to ask her these questions and we would like answers. So, of course, the select board did nothing but try to shut down public comment, of course. But she is on mute because what is she really going to say anyway? Why wasn't she called that night? Why are they calling Chief Berkowitz when he is on a medical leave and not supposed to be doing work on a medical leave?
Yeah, and he's out there
Anyone?
finding evidence, on his hand and knees looking for taillight pieces in the middle of the street.
I don't
That's
know. Even those
dedication.
haven't been submitted, but they're claiming that there aren't any. So now it's going to be a fight for the PI. I guarantee you the defense's PI is going to try to get someone who's in that department to tell him that there are notes so that they can prove that there are or were notes that they're not getting their hands on and that the Commonwealth is claiming don't exist.
I find
So
it hard to believe that every Canton police officer was told not to write anything down. Could you
I mean,
imagine that? A murder. That
you
they're
didn't write
listen, they're
note.
charging her with murder, not hit and run, not accident. They're charging her with murder.
Right. Exactly. And no, Trooper Proctor did not misspell names in other cases. He didn't. He did he did the report the way you're supposed to fucking do it in other cases. Like, I mean, that's the problem.
You and I had this discussion, I think. Imagine swapping words around and using the wrong word. Like instead of saying accident, you say like murder.
Or I don't know, embedded when the report says on. Lally loves that one.
Human.
Embedded. Everything's embedded.
Human, not human.
Right. They did start a new Facebook page called Civil Canton. All are welcome, but then
No one's civil there. It's already a fight.
no one's welcome because we do have members who were seriously wanted to talk in other groups, and they seriously went there to actually have a civil conversation
I'm
about
sure
their
that
town.
I'm sure they're
didn't even
welcome
get
on your channel anytime. I'm sure that all they gotta do is get in touch with you. You'd be more than happy to have them on.
I would
They're
be more
all
than happy.
wonderful people.
I would be more than happy. But my point is that they went to that page to civilly talk and they never even got a chance. They were immediately blocked. So they were
There's a lot of
accepted,
that
but then
there's a
blocked.
lot of that going around. How about Rule 14? Everyone's coming to have this meeting. Auntie Bev says, boom, we're canceling it.
Yeah, well, that
But the Rule 17 motion, right?
Rule 17,
Is that
yeah.
what that was? That she just canceled it like that? And
But that's part of the reason why they don't want her on this case anymore, because that cost a substantial amount of money to the defense and it was agreed upon beforehand. And Karen has a right to argue said motion before it's denied, to argue it. She never even got the chance to argue the motion.
no, that'll go Supreme Court hard. If they were to push that one, they're gonna lose that. They have
I
to give into
mean,
that. They can't. Yeah, they're screwed there.
the change is definitely their theory though still doesn't even flow. So I mean, I still don't. Somebody
All
said
right.
earlier, like, I don't know why they haven't dismissed this already, because they've doubled and tripled down. So at this
But-
point, again, I will say my theory, and my theory is that they keep fucking up on purpose. They're trying to make sure that this case is thrown out or that she finds not guilty, so that way they can say, well, we tried. We still think she's guilty, but a jury said otherwise. Like, or it gets thrown out on a technicality and they say, oh, well, we could re-bring up charges. It's just a technicality. She's still a murderer. Like that's so
And that erases why Jen McCabe's over the lead investigator's house like 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
No, of course it
That
doesn't.
changes all that, right? That allows that
No,
because
of
it's
course
gonna
not.
get thrown out eventually. It's okay now, right? They can be friends.
They can't afford. Oh, they can't. I don't know. Did she say that they can't afford body cams at the town meeting? Did Rafferty say that?
She said that she couldn't find the money in the certain budget for the body cams.
Well,
And
you find it in a different fucking budget.
She was gonna look to find money elsewhere, and they were gonna take it from the traffic cams or the them other cams they were doing. Remember
Why do you even have traffic cams? You can't give anybody tickets.
No. There are other cams that they do. They're like license plate reader cams that they have out there.
Yes, Kevin. Yeah, you know the admin of it exactly. So I don't know. Like, yeah, Karen Kelly, I think was the person who made it, and I don't know. And they did have dash cams, but the way it's reading in the reports as if the dash cams are only at least the Canton ones are only facing forward, like to the officer in the car, not facing outward.
They're backwards.
But most departments have it so they're facing, they do both. So I'm interested to see if they claim they only go inside the car and not to the outside of the car. And what does because again, that's something the defense is going to want. They were going to want those cams.
I think we can ask Clarence when they finally get him in the back of a cruiser, he'll be able to see. They have both sides of it because
I would love to be a fly on the wall when they try that bullshit. So
it's so obvious they're going after him. It is such. I see.
I'd be given good one-liners from the back seat of the cruiser, like "fuck your mother." I saw her last night. Like
it would, yeah. That I mean, it would have to be. Yeah, no.
I'm not sure if the chief called.
Okay, let's talk about that. They were all in the car. They spent the entire day together. Okay, we know this. We know they all went to New York and back. We don't know where the chief spun off and went home, but somewhere along the line he went home, and Brian Albert and Higgins continued the party, and that's why they ended up at the waterfall. That was just a continuation of the ride home from New York. Do you understand? Like they went from New York, they met at they went to C.F. McCarthy's first.
Right?
And then they ended up there. That's where they met him up because
right,
they knew where they were going to be. So, and they was drinking all day. So, again,
yeah, they were drinking. So
everybody was. And you know what? Didn't Chris Albert buy a round of shots?
I think I heard that, but I don't remember I read that. I've read so much.
And it said one of the shots wasn't drank, right? I think it said something like that, didn't it? There was one
Maybe.
shot left, and he didn't know who it was that didn't drink it.
Well,
Guess what? He
Yeah.
bought fucking 9 shots. That boy's an alcoholic. I'll say it right now, right here. 9 shots.
I mean, I've bought a round of shots of people at the bar before, but
Listen, Karen's gonna drink 9 vodka sodas. That boy's drinking 9 shots. That's how that works. You buy him. She bought a round. He bought a round.
maybe.
This whole fantasy of her drinking 9 drinks.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's possible.
Sorry. She may have bought 9 drinks.
Right. Doesn't mean she drank all 9 or handed. Like, I'll go up and order 2 and then go give him his. And then, so I'm ordering 2, but I'm drinking 1. Like, you know what I mean? Or if he's sitting at a table with his friends and my friends, I'll ask everybody what they want, go order them, bring them back. But I'm only drinking 1 of those because I'm not drinking everyone else's. I'm just getting them for them. Like,
sometimes they sit there, they water down. It just.
Even if someone did talk to the person who cleaned the room where the autopsy was done, it's kind of irrelevant because there's nothing they're going to get from that. Everything is it's biohazard. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not relevant really.
That's not where they get the evidence.
Well, I mean, dried blood. No, I mean, they can get dried blood, but for instance, blood has to be kept at a certain temperature in order to do certain testing on it. You can do other testing on dried blood, but on blood that's not dried, you can do other tests.
Yes,
but it has to be kept at like a certain temperature. So if you wanted it to be tested for like everything, then you would, want to keep it at the temperature it's supposed to be. But I mean, red Solo cups. And again, they said the neighbor, so we don't know. Maybe they did come from Kelleher's. I don't know. Kelleher was the cop that lived across the street that said his Ring camera had nothing on it or nothing relevant. And yes, either way, in my opinion, yes, you contaminated that evidence. The evidence is contaminated. You did not put it, it's in a damn Solo cup and then in a bag. Like, come on. Like, ridiculous. Like, and again, yes, I mean, I guess you're right. They might have found pieces of plastic taillight if they're going to say that they're on John's clothes. If you picked up those clothes, wouldn't you have cleaned up some taillight if it was in the clothes like that? Like, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. It's a very, very good point. Maybe, I'm sure that's something the defense has thought about though. They're very, very smart people.
I have a question. What time did he take possession of John's clothing?
I don't think we have an exact, or maybe we do have an exact. I don't know.
Give me a ballpark.
I don't know. After they pronounced him dead at some point. So
8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. He leaves the hospital with a bag of clothes. This is John on the side of it. These belong to John. What time does he leave the hospital with that?
I have no clue. I have to go back and look.
Call it 10. Right?
Yeah.
What time is the taillight found?
The first 3 pieces that the search team finds?
If
that was within the 5:45 search, wasn't it?
If he broke them pieces and picked them up and put them in the clothing and transported them back to the scene in John's clothing, of course there's going to be pieces of the taillight in it. Where do you think he hid the taillight? He put the taillight in a bag of bloody clothes because nobody's going to go digging through a bag of bloody clothes that says evidence. No one's touching it but him.
No, nobody does really know what the feds are doing. I've tried to get that information multiple times. All we know is they had a federal grand jury. People testified to that federal grand jury, but we do not know what they're going to keep it very tight-lipped. I mean, I've called a bunch of people to try to get information, and unfortunately, I'm not really getting much other than they're doing whatever they're doing. And so, no, I don't really have that answer. And Bob, the Solo cups really bother me as well, because that's clearly not the way that you deal with evidence. And no, they didn't even have the cups. They said they got them from a neighbor. That's what they claim.
Yeah, but the neighbor gave them Solo cups.
And yes, they should have set up, a perimeter with a tent or a tarp or tape, anything to set up a perimeter, because it's inclement weather. So you're going to want to keep whatever evidence is there until you find it, right? And they didn't do that either.
They left the scene alone because that they thought it was just a hit and run until they changed.
Well, that's another thing. They thought it was just an accident at the time, right? Because that's what they claimed. Or they let her leave, right?
Yep.
Until You talk to the witnesses all together and then magically it's a murder? Like, come on.
Just like how
Come
the
on.
tail light went from being cracked by Jen McCabe, Kerry Roberts, and Karen, who's like intelligent beyond belief. They all say it's cracked. The trooper
Right.
says it's shattered.
Right.
No.
Cracked and
No.
shattered are two different things.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Because
Cracked and shattered. Archie, but again, that's Lally with his everything's embedded. Well, the reports don't say embedded, they say on. Does
all
not
three
say
girls,
that the cocktail glass was embedded in the bumper. It says it's on the bumper. It does not say that the hair was embedded in the bumper. It says it's on the panel. So no. And yes, the DOC is getting body cams. They could get body cams. Like, I mean, it's utterly ridiculous to act like the amount of money that Canton brings in, they couldn't get fucking body cams. Civil forfeiture, anyone? They use all that money as their own personal slush fund. Like, come
wow.
on, dude.
I mean, they can move money around a little bit here and there, but I mean, wow. I mean,
I don't know. So somebody's asking, why do you think Brian Albert killed John O'Keefe? I don't know who did it. Okay. But it takes more than one person to move a 6'2", 200 and something pound body.
you're
So
not
I'm
moving
going to
along.
say at least two people are involved in that. At least.
Two decent people.
Listen, I
I'm
can
not
pick
moving
up pretty heavy stuff. So even me and one other person can move it. But the point is at least two people, in my opinion, would have had to move him.
Listen,
Like,
I'm screwed. There's no way I'm moving a 250-pound body. It ain't
I
happening.
can with someone else if somebody
I'm
else is
not.
helping me.
I'm not. That's more. That's a lot. That's 100 pounds more than I weigh. I'm
So
not picking them up and
again,
just chuck them over my shoulder. I probably could if I had to, but I'm not going to.
adrenaline, you have to remember pure adrenaline.
But
And
no.
it'll make you like superhuman strength. Believe me, I had it when I was a domestic violence
Oh.
victim. I'm a survivor. Like you get some superhuman strength that you get out of nowhere in situations like that when you're afraid or scared or
I
you
can't
never know.
imagine what John had to go through. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, so utterly ridiculous. It doesn't matter how much she drank. And who doesn't? Yeah, who doesn't buy around? Like,
all right. Listen, why do we think Brian Albert?
I just said that. I just went over that. Just said I don't know who did it, but it's
no. But there's all sorts of theories out there of why. Nobody knows why, except the people that were there, right? Like, how would we know? Like, I can't think like that.
Well, I mean, my brain just constantly goes. But again, just like Catherine is saying here, like they took Karen's BAC 12 hours later and then opined what it would have been, 12 hours previous. Like, I mean, come on. And that's, again, pretty irrelevant. We have witnesses in the waterfall saying she wasn't overly intoxicated. So again, irrelevant. Every single person there was drinking. That's completely and utterly irrelevant. Like,
it's got no bearing with the waterfall. I feel bad for the owners. It's got no bearing in this case. It's where they started. It doesn't come to 34 Fairview where the incident happened. That's the incident. That's the focus is. That's where the accident happened. That's the accident scene. What contributed to this? Okay, well, they were here. The car broke here. All these different things lead to the accident that happened.
Right.
Waterfall was part of their process to that accident scene, which they just bungled completely. I can't.
Well, that's the thing. They let Karen leave, right? They let Karen leave. And
Twice.
so you let the murder weapon leave.
Twice.
That means that they did not think that she killed him on purpose right away because they would not have allowed her to leave.
Don't forget that the responding officers saw John. The detectives didn't.
Right.
Proctor did. Proctor knew. Proctor knew before going in.
I mean, it's a very real possibility, right?
There's something about John O'Keefe throwing at one of the Alberts, who's the police works in the police department. He's a sergeant, I think. There's like 21 pages of texts in a video that's part of evidence that I read.
Well, there's a lot of texts that are part of evidence. There's some text also between Aaron and Higgins.
That interaction, I don't know. I can't speak to it again, but
We don't know. We don't
We
have
don't
it.
know. We think it's there.
Right. We don't have it, so we don't know.
So
Unfortunately, we don't know because we don't have it. But I mean, it'd be interesting to see once we do have it what it says, right? Like what it hasn't any relevance, because I doubt that those text messages from previous times really have much relevance on this case at all. What I've been trying to figure out this why as well. Okay, so this comment here, Brian Albert, this person says definitely killed John O'Keefe. I'm just wondering why he killed him. I don't know the why, and I've been racking my brain on each person who was in that house. Why, and I don't know. Like, there's got to be, obviously, there's a ton of evidence we haven't seen yet, right? We haven't seen a ton of stuff. So I'm figuring that when some of that comes out, that will be the why, right? But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, he was a big boy, and a lot of people, my sources have say that, like, even people who worked with him, say that they just sort of kept on his good side, that like he was very brash and like almost like, I'm the big bad, like you don't mess with me, like, and so people were intimidated by him, so they either stayed fully away from him or just sort of tried to keep on his good side as to not cross him, I guess, to get fired or whatever.
Listen, at 6'2", right? He can take his hand and put it out on my forehead, and I ain't coming near. I ain't swing. I can swing, use my legs. I ain't coming near this guy. Just by him putting his hand out, I can't reach him. His reach. He's got a much greater. I can't get a body shot in because he can keep me far away because he's got the reach.
Someone does know. That's 100% true. Someone does know. What they know, Jeff, we don't know yet, but someone knows. And so I'm hoping the pressure is with the geofence. That's why I'm like, why are we taking so long with the geofence? Because that would definitively tell us where every single person was. Like, and that's the thing, as long as they keep lying, they'll never be charged. And so it's like, does the pressure of it, of thinking of life in prison, or thinking or actually having any remorse, crack you? Where you crack and try to make a deal? You have to remember, there's a lot of law enforcement here. They're very smart. They know what they should and shouldn't do or say. They know what they can do to get away with it. Like, so, I mean, it's really much going to boil down to, like, inside, is it eating you alive or not? That's going to just boil down to inside, is it eating you alive enough to crack? Like, so yeah, everybody said they weren't fighting. There was witnesses that said John and Karen were not fighting. There was no fight between them. Like, there was no arguments. Like, they were fine. So why all of a sudden in the car they're just gonna fight, and then she's just gonna go 62 feet at 24.2 miles an hour? And no, I'm just not. That's just not a story I can buy. I'm sorry. There are weirder things that happen. I'm gonna say that there are weirder things that have happened, but that, like, try going even 10 to 15 miles an hour in reverse at night while it's flirting, while the road's wet and curved a little bit.
Drunk.
Not drunk, but drinking.
Yeah.
Try doing it. Like, it's extremely fast. Unless you're Dale Earnhardt Jr., you're not going to hit a target that you want to hit correctly. Like, without rocking, flipping.
You don't have the dexterity at that intoxication level, and that's those conditions with that type of vehicle, with that weight, trying to come at him. No way.
Right.
No. And you know what we're forgetting? John was how big? 6'2". All that dude had to do is take one step, and he's out of the way of freaking a Mack truck. He's like halfway to the house.
And again, that's stuff you take in training as a cop, like there's stuff that you get trained to do. Getting out of the fucking way is one of them. Like, driving is another. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are things you get trained to do to be a cop. Like, and this is a good comment here. John was a wicked good. Why is it not showing? John was a wicked good guy, and he does deserve justice. And Karen didn't back over him based on the autopsy photos, he says. And so if you do look at those autopsy photos, it's really hard for anybody to believe that with no injuries from, like, the neck down, how you could be hit by a car and be 6'2".
you would see the mark across the body where the tire
You'd see something, anything.
where the tire drove over your body. You would see distinct marks of the tire pattern going across wherever it ran over you. Yes, that's exactly true, Christine. Yep.
Yes, and I think they did call her back to be able to charge it with the DUI, 100%. I mean, it's
That's
just really
how
ridiculous.
smart is that? Imagine if she got into an accident on the way there and she was drunk and they knew it.
I think that they wanted to section her because they wanted to get her blood alcohol content. And I think that's the only way they knew that they were going to be able to get it was by sectioning her because she doesn't have to go willingly. You already let her leave, right? So the only way to get the blood alcohol that you want is by sectioning her.
They have to do it on the intake.
Right. So I think they knew what they were doing when they did that. Like 100%. Like 100%.
Do we think that they've done this before? Well, same players had Sandra Birchmore written all over it.
Right. There's a lot of crossover between those two cases.
Yep.
So
she lived in Canton, poor girl.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's really, her case is really, really sad, and she deserves justice too. I'm working on that one behind the scenes. I'm working on it. I am. It's a lot of work too because that poor girl, like, was used and abused, and it's sad. Like, but again, we got the same players that are crossing over between these two cases, and it's like
pregnant.
Yeah, she was pregnant. Yep. And that's what makes it even
that's evil. That's a whole nother level of just evil, right? That makes it just want to like hate that person who could do something like that. She would never hurt herself. That would hurt her baby. No way, no how. Nope.
No, of course not.
Nope. Not gonna convince me.
No.
No, come on. These people.
You're gonna convince a lot of people.
These people. Man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, wow. The airbags. We've talked about that too, the airbags, but they would have gone off or not. Like, with that kind of impact, you would think that the airbags would deploy, right? Or the automatic braking system would break. Two things that we
airbags don't activate until you get to a certain speed, and then it has to be an impact that has to hit a sensor to pop the airbag to make it go off. You know, you can hit someone at a really, really good speed and never hit a sensor and total a car without the airbags going off. Theoretically, if you hit them the right way.
And yeah, there is no way, no how if this wasn't their first rodeo. I don't think, I mean, too comfortable doing shit to be your first rodeo.
That's a shame too.
It is a shame. It's a damn fucking shame.
Can't have this. This is not what we're no.
I mean,
we can do better than this.
I'm gonna remind everybody while there's new people in here, let me just remind everybody that we have the raffle going. And the retail value is $1,388.50, and it is on the Twisted Tragedies Facebook page, and it's on my personal Facebook page, and we're trying to raise the money for Worlds in Florida, in Vieira, Florida, by the 17th of October. So it's not going to be up long. I suggest you get your tickets if you can. It starts off with a $200 gift certificate to the Marabou Inn and Spa in Plymouth. And they do everything from makeup to steam room to hot rocks to manicure, pedicure, like you name massage, like you name it, facials, like all of it. They do it all. So even guys can use that for a good old massage or a steam, like whatever you want. Then $25 gift card to the Cheesecake Factory so you can get something to eat maybe after, and then it's a lot of high-end makeup, skincare, beauty products. I've listed every single one of them, their retail value, all their pictures. And then a couple pieces of cultured pearl jewelry that I drilled and set myself. So please, if you feel so inclined to buy one of those, it really helps out, or make a donation to the channel, just because one ticket is $20, 3 for $50, and 7 for $100. The first $50 gets matched tonight by an anonymous donor. So if you say you buy 3 tickets for $50, now you get 6 tickets because the other person is donating $50. They're matching the first $50. So, or if you buy one $20, you get 2 because that person's matching $50. So up to the first $50. So, if you can do that on Cash App or Venmo, if you don't have either one of those, you can always reach out. We do have PayPal. I just don't use it that often, but some people don't have Cash App or Venmo. It's the same at Cash App or Venmo. It's Skye, SKYE 3188 at Cash App or Venmo. And you can write we'll read that out loud too if you want. But I would catch that while you can, because it's going to be up for a very short time, and because we have to raise the money very quickly. Everybody knows the work that has been done to try to get there. It would be a damn shame if we couldn't figure out how to do it. And I work very hard over here. Work very hard. So fingers crossed, everybody, right? That we can get it done. Interesting. You worked with John. So I worked with John over 20 years ago when he was the most humble guy. As Turtle Boy has stated, John was a stay off your lawn type of guy. And yes, he would try to prevent people from littering way back then. That's interesting. I've heard that John was just a really good guy in general. Like, he was just a really good guy in general. That is what I've heard. Like,
I've heard nothing but great things about the guy.
Yeah.
You think
really.
About it, he took in those two kids as his own.
As his own. Didn't have to do that. A lot of people wouldn't do that, especially not a male who was single.
And the best part was he actually like assimilated them past the parents' death.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one thing to take kids in, but to have to deal with the parent death at the same time, and then another parent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did right. He did real good. He did really good, and that kids should be proud of him.
My heart
something great.
And, for those kids. My heart breaks for them.
I can't find anything bad about him.
No, my heart breaks for those kids. I was a kid in foster care when I was younger. I was a preteen and into teen, and I was a kid in foster care. And I'll tell you, it's a horrific place to be. Most kids are better off where they are than being put into that system. And so I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And obviously, I think Paul O'Keefe took the kids. Thank God, because with John gone, like that could have been a reality, and those kids do not. That's the last thing they need. They've lost 3 caregivers in their life. 3, both of their parents and then their uncle. And my heart just breaks for them. One of them is an older teenager. Like kids aren't stupid no matter the age. Like my 5-year-old's not stupid. Like my 18-year-old's extremely smart, and my 14-year-old's just as witty. Like they're smart, and but they hold a lot of emotion, and those kids have been through a lot, and my heart just breaks for them because I remember being just a lonely kid in foster care, and like I can only imagine what it was like for them losing 3 caregivers. Like that's a pretty big burden to bear. Like,
so I disagree with you with the foster care system because I'm a licensed foster care.
Yeah, well, when you're a kid in the system, you might see it a different way.
Listen, the kids that left my house were in a much better position in life than they were before they came in.
But my point is, they got lucky, Tom. There's not 100 Toms out there. Okay, there might be one. I was moved from place to place to place to place to place to place over the years. You know how many of those places were good? Exactly one.
They ping pong the kids. Absolutely, they do that, and that's the system. There's definite problems there, but there are people out there that try. They actually try.
I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is there's only a few of them. From all the places they moved me, there was only one place that was not abusive. It was the last foster home I was in. And her name was Michelle Oliveira, and I'll never forget her because she treated me as if I was her own child, her and her husband, Mark.
How a kid
lived in Sagamore Beach.
Right.
They did it right, and they did it for the right reasons. Right. But that was the only foster home I was ever in that wasn't abusive.
Well, again, that's the state, but I know the kids that left my house were better off in life.
But again, they got lucky. They got lucky because they got put there. That's why.
And yeah, there are some that I'm sure need help, but some of the places these kids come out of.
At the same time, you also have to acknowledge the fact that the state oftentimes lies about where the kids came from.
Oh, yeah.
And make it look like it's so much worse than it actually is. And there's another problem just with that in itself because they're just getting fast for money. But son, don't get me down that rabbit hole because I can go on for 1,700 years. I've been working in that kind of area for years and years and years and years and years because I used to be a foster kid.
I was talking to a lady about that, and one of the problems with foster care is when the workers go in, they take a bag, like a trash bag, and they go into the kid's drawer. They open the drawer, and they grab the clothes, and they put it in the bag. But the stuff, guess what? The stuff that's in the drawer is the stuff the kid doesn't wear because it doesn't fit. It's someone else's, or it's whatever. The people just grabbing stuff, putting it in the bag, and they're taking off with the kid. They don't even have the time to say, all right, where are all your clothes? Let's get what you can salvage.
They won't. Yeah, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm done with that. So Kevin's comment, yep, 20. So I think it was 24.2, but I think now I have to go back because somebody mentioned that it didn't say miles per hour. I could have sworn to God it did, but I'm going to go back and look. Even if it wasn't, it would be around 15 if it was kilo whatever.
Listen, that when by the time I figured out, by the time Karen called John from the garage,
yeah,
11 minutes backwards. Okay, from that time on, everyone at that house who was in it, when they left, they would have saw John or heard John moaning or heard John screaming, or they would have heard the commotions. Absolutely would have heard it. Everybody in that house. And Matt,
well, that's the thing, right?
So looking out the window the entire time. So I don't know what they're gonna do in court.
I don't
He
either.
must have watched it. He saw the V in the snow.
From 62 feet away, John wouldn't end up where he was found. John would have landed more towards the driveway. Everyone who left that house couldn't help but see him. And that's the thing. There's no way every person left. Nobody saw it. And how is that possible?
So what this is what I think they're saying is Karen backed up and hit him and sent him this way, and the plow driver came down and plowed him that way, and that's where he ended up.
The axe, I think. Okay, so somebody's asking about the axe story. Honestly, the only thing I heard about that is maybe he was hit in the back of the head with the axe, but I don't. Again, that can't be confirmed or denied. That's just something someone said. And the family wasn't forced to move. They sold the house for $50,000 under asking price. They chose to sell that house that was in the family for a very long time. I talked to someone who had been in that house when they were a kid and said that those stairs that go down to the basement were actually fairly steep.
Yeah.
So
that was the Alberts.
Yeah. Yep. So it's like,
Yeah, the axe story. I heard about that. And that has to do with the shed, right?
I have no idea. I've just heard the axe part of it. But again,
it could just be two kids getting a fight in the shed, and then one kid said this and it got blown out of proportion, and he picked up an axe instead of it was just maybe like a driveway marker or something,
Yeah.
Kids say things get changed and stretched around and stuff like that. They're kids.
Yeah, true that.
Remember, that's what we got to deal with. We're not dealing with adults here. We're dealing with kids.
Well, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
we don't think like they do. Right?
Thank you. This comment here from Forrest G. Now, this is what I've been hearing from most police officers who are currently on the force or just retired because of this shit. Right here. He said, my dad was a Boston cop in the Boston Police Department. Good cops get bullied by bad cops. And not only do they get bullied, they're basically like forced into submission of being quiet, because if they don't, either their life is going to be made a living hell or they're going to be blacklisted from being a cop ever again anywhere else because of the other people know in high places. Or they're just harassed at work so much it makes their life a living hell at work. And that's a real thing. Like the blue line is a thing, but also if you snitch on that blue line or you tell something you saw or something was improper, there's retaliation for that. It's like a mob. It's a gang. Like that's literally what it is. Like you told on one of our gang members, even though they broke a rule or a law, therefore you are the target now. And that's sad. Like, and I wonder to myself, did John break a rule? Was there something John knew or said?
It would have to be important enough for them to want to kill him.
Right.
And what I can't fathom, like what would it be? Like your dog's a biter? Okay. Like who cares? I can't. Couldn't.
The testing, well, that's for the infotainment system. And as of the last court date, they still had not had all the infotainment system stuff because the prosecution connected it to Burla, which is only one software that can read it. And they said, oh, it's binary code, which is zeros and ones, which means it's encrypted. You can't read it.
Let's talk about this because they weren't connecting. They were going to disconnect everything.
Right, but what I'm saying is they put it up to Burla, and Burla was showing binary code, zeros and ones. So okay, but there's about a million other softwares you can run it through that will read it and isn't binary code. And so that's what the defense is asking. Well, we have other softwares that we can hook it up to, because the prosecution says they want to destroy it by doing this one software that will destroy it if we read it. And the defense is like, no. We have an expert who can read it without destroying it, and we're certainly not going to give it to the defense to destroy it after they just did what they did with this hair. So no, we need a chance to look at it from our expert without destroying it before we agree to any exhaustive testing of anything. And they did the same thing with the hair as well. The hair, it was going to be, we'd have to exhaustively test it. And they were like, no, we need our person to look at it under a microscope because your person wasn't qualified and failed their exam, and you still let them say whether, and they failed the exam. Maureen Hartnett failed the exam on whether you can tell whether something is a hair of a human or not. She failed on the exact thing you guys allowed her to do. Like, come on, dude. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. Like, but again, we don't have that information yet.
Can you imagine what they're going to find when they look into her? How she's related to somebody somehow? Wait, just wait. Just give it a day or two. Because she's related to somebody in this whole scheme of things like everyone else is.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great.
Did you see the new video?
No, not yet. I didn't see all of it. I told you.
No. Of Sergeant Bukaki dancing?
I did see that. Yes, I did. Yep. Yes, I did.
That is the detective who is harassing somebody that did the right thing.
The Beaties? I'm confused. What do you mean?
He's the guy that went to the dispatcher.
Yeah, I know.
And took that person's phone and is like harassing them. That's the same guy.
I know.
Mr. Professional.
Well, that's the thing.
By the book.
But you guys did so much to harass that poor woman and make her life a fucking living hell. But what the fuck did you do to find out whose edge that was? What the fuck did you do to get the geofencing data and not fuck up the warrant twice? What did you do to make sure that the evidence was secured properly in a timely fashion and through the chain of custody? Nothing. Where are the notes? They don't exist. But you want to harass the dispatcher that ran a plate that shows that Jen McCabe was outside Proctor's house when magically he doesn't know anyone. Remember, this is what Ellie keeps saying.
Think of the report he had to write to get the warrant.
Oh, I know. I've talked about this. In order for him to get that warrant, he either had to lie, mislead, lie, or had to do something to find something to charge that person with, or charge somebody else with in order to get probable cause to get a warrant. So what was the probable cause? I want to see the probable cause affidavit that they gave to the judge, because I want to know what probable cause he had to find out who ran that plate. Why does it matter who ran a plate? Well, you guys do it all the time and never get in trouble for illegally running a plate when you're not supposed to. You guys do it 24/7. The cops do it all the fucking time. But you took the time out of your day to find out who ran that plate because it made someone look bad that you work with.
Do you want to know
the problem?
Do you want to know my hope? My hope on a far out another world. You ready? He is chasing down that person who ran the plate, right?
Yeah.
But if Proctor's not involved, what if he is being investigated by the state police? And by running the plate, you're breaking the investigation.
But again, she'd have nothing to do with that investigation, even if she ran the plate. There's still
doesn't matter. They can use the fact that there's an ongoing investigation to put the kibosh on that. Absolutely. The judge will sign that all day without thinking twice about it. Yeah.
Sure. But again, you can't charge her with anything. It's not illegal. It's against a policy, but it's not illegal.
What if Proctor's not on desk duty? What if he's not on this? What if he's
I don't know. I've heard that he's been home a lot lately.
What if he's under investigation and that picture of Jen McCabe at his house is going to mess up that investigation that Bukaki's now investigating? He's going to investigate his friend.
You think they would never let him investigate
Oh,
that with a
absolutely.
witch?
I think they would let that. They would let him take over and let him look and see what the problem was and where that went wrong. I think so.
I
I
mean,
think
I think that they know there's too many eyes in this case to let that happen.
Proctor may
But
fall on the sword and say it was all me. He may do that
maybe. I don't know.
if he can cut a deal.
Maybe. Oh, yes, everybody, that would be great with the like button. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be a stupid motive. It could be something that just happens sporadically, quickly, out of control.
Right.
Argument, fight, wrong look. It doesn't, like, fights start over the stupidest thing. Do you ever be in a bar and somebody's like, well, you're looking at me, and you weren't even looking at them. You were like waving to your friend somewhere else or looking towards where someone you were with went, and this person else
Aaron Hernandez did it. Remember, he shot them people after leaving the club because the guy bumped into him and spilled a drink.
He got away with that. He was found not guilty for that. Just saying.
Imagine that.
Again, his attorney was Jose Baez. So there's that.
You know, that comment there, it isn't far-fetched.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
If one of them had an attitude and you looked at my wife the wrong way, or you disrespected me by not letting me get up first or whatever, I can maybe see something like that. But you want to pretend and hope these people are professionals, at least to a point. You know, you want to believe a police officer will conduct himself reasonable in his own house. I mean, it's his own house. You have to give him a little leeway, but you know, the average person should be able to come over anytime and knock on his door and say, "Hey, what's up?" You know, as
the average person, but you're not the average person. You're a fucking witness in a murder investigation that claims that they have no attachment to this person whatsoever. Like, when clearly you fucking do, because we have evidence that your family does. So, I mean, it's a little utterly ridiculous. Like, I mean, again, I would love to hear from the other side. I would love to hear from anybody on that side. Anyone. Someone answer anything. If you were innocent, though, and you did nothing wrong, right? Because I don't think, again, people have theories like, oh, Jill Daniels knows, she doesn't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's fed the lie too. I don't know. But wouldn't we want to know what she has to say? Like, I want to know what she has to say. Or maybe Chris Albert wants to talk. Like, I want to know what some of these people have to say other than go fuck yourself and the Canton salute. Like,
right. I mean,
that's something. Say something.
Yeah.
Like,
give me something else besides that.
Well, like, I mean, I can have a civil conversation with anyone. Like, I can have that conversation, but you have to be willing to have that conversation, right? Like, that one person that was in one of these lives one time that was like, oh, well, you know, it seems like differing opinions aren't allowed on channels like this. And I said, nope, you got it wrong. Not here. You want a differing opinion? Come on up. We'll debate this and we can do it civilly. And I told her to email me, and she emailed me, and I emailed her back. Okay. And I said, here's my number. I'm doing a live tonight. I'm doing another one. Like, give me a time you're available. I'll work around it. And guess what I got?
Nothing.
Nada. No response. She originally sent the email and then never responded.
Why would you do that? Why would you bother? Like, especially like if you want your side out, you're at least prove that Karen hit John. Like, give me something.
No kidding. Like, I don't. Oh man, it's just like, it's aggravating. It's really aggravating. Like, because, here we go, right here. It's fucking exhausting breaking down every single thing that's in this case, because there's just so fucking much, dude. So much.
To me, like, there's so many things that are just a no. Like, no, you can't get there. If they took Karen's car the wrong way, that car's thrown out. You can't use the car. Fruit of the poisonous tree, it's gone. They throw it out.
You won't see that happen.
Any of it. You never know.
You don't ever know, but I just don't see it happening. If anything gets thrown out, I think it's the clothes.
They have a strong case for that. They also have a strong case because they can't prove chain of custody.
That's
They
another
also have a
problem.
strong case proven because there's no pictures of the vehicle when it was in the Sally Port, and they also have no documentation to prove that they called in another police officer to remove the taillight. They don't have any of that, but they don't have the video showing them disassembling the taillight
No
and all the
video of
pieces all
anything,
over the
of
floor.
nothing.
And they don't have pieces of the taillight getting smashed, and they don't have pieces of the people picking the pieces up and putting them in their pockets.
They don't have videos of anything, and that's half the problem here. And yeah, I did hear that Canton's now using fucking plate readers, so that's
That's what it was. Remember?
the cool
Yep.
plate readers. You could afford the plate readers, but not the body cams that are more important than the plate readers. You can run a plate, right? Like you can use your fucking fingers to do that, right? Like the body cams would have been way more important than installing goddamn plate readers. Like, come on. It's not like Canton needs Shot Spotter like Roxbury. Like you're not paying for Shot
Right.
Spotter. Like, come on, dude. Like
They're paying for plate readers instead. It's another way to
right.
it's another way to
Priorities?
listen. It's a way to get money. That's it.
Civil forfeiture, civil forfeiture. They catch drug dealers and then they get to take not only all the drugs, but they get to take their car, they get to take their money, sell it, and then the police department gets to use it as their own personal slush fund.
Yep.
That's all it is.
I'll tell you, Hanover busted a guy long
Hanover
time
was
ago.
terrible, awful.
Hanover busted a guy a long time ago. He was growing pot, and he had like a $1.2 million house. So the chief at the time was brilliant. He took the money and put it in like a non-revocable trust or something like that, where no one could touch it, and you could only get the interest. And they redid the entire. They were ahead of the curve, computer-wise, cruiser-wise, weapon-wise. They were all ahead of the curve.
Though, it's just a way of stealing from people because you don't even have to be convicted of a crime for them to try play civil forfeiture, which is why it's trying to be quashed right now. That's why they're trying to make a law against it right now in the state house because it's a fucking joke. And yes, Brian Albert did not come outside his house when John O'Keefe was found on his property. And that bothers me to this day. Another officer did not come outside. If there's a dead body on your lawn and it is a fellow officer that you know, why are you still in the house? You're going to tell me you didn't hear the screaming, the sirens, the lights, the people talking. You didn't hear any of it and you didn't come outside. I just don't buy that. Like, I don't know. That's difficult for me. Like, if I am dead asleep and I sleep when I'm asleep, I'm asleep. When I'm dead asleep, I live in an apartment complex. So oftentimes there'll be an ambulance and they don't usually turn the sirens on. It's just usually the lights because it's an apartment complex. So they don't like turn the sirens on if they're coming here late at night. But I'll see the lights sort of like reflecting off the building through my window.
Mm-hmm.
And I even keep my shades are drawn, but I can still sort of see it out of the corner of the shade. And I go outside to find out what's going on all the time because I know a lot of my neighbors. I want to make sure like I help take care of my elderly neighbor upstairs. And
someone's gonna watch the cat and feed the cat and get the mail and notify this person. Yeah,
some of these people have kids. My neighbor downstairs has kids. Like, so if she was taken, I'm gonna take her kid, obviously, so she doesn't have to worry. Like, so I go and I make sure like it's not one of my neighbors. They don't need me to do anything for them or help them while they're going off to the hospital or whatever's going on. Or maybe there's a fire. My first building in my complex has had 2 electrical fires. So I want to make sure everything is okay, right? So I always go outside and I'm not even hearing the sirens or people talking. It's usually just the lights. Sometimes you'll hear people talking and then I'm like, okay, and then the cops are out there and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, the diesel, the fire truck, the engines and stuff, all in the doors slamming, bang, 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 and the diesel and the running.
So that's what I normally hear is the air brakes of the fire truck and the engine of the fire truck because it's so loud and because every time the cops come or an ambulance comes, a fire truck comes with it. Now that's not true for every town and city. They stopped doing that in some towns and cities like Whitman because it costs a lot of money to send a fire truck out every time when it's not needed. But here they do almost always send one. So I hear it and it wakes me up and the lights. And so I always go outside. So it's really hard for me to believe that there was a woman screaming outside. There's all these cops, there's lights, and you don't go outside. You're trained. You are a trained, not even just trained in like regular cop shit. You were on the fugitive task force, my friend. Fugitive task force. Like, come on. Seriously. Like, that's just ridiculousness.
The kicker is the whole thing is this. There are running leaf blowers outside his bedroom to blow the snow away, which is where they found the clear cocktail glass. They're leaf blowers. He slept through that.
I saw that. The leaf blowers.
Really? Yeah. No. Really. And they're gonna complain of us being on the sidewalk with a bullhorn. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, that's another thing. There was no professional, anything happening to Brian Albert. There was underage drinking in his home.
Yep, all the
He's
time. All the time, by the
decorated
way.
cop, but there was
All the time.
constant underage drinking. Like nothing happened to him at work. Nothing happened to Higgins. There was no like paid time off or paid leave and nothing happened to these people for driving drunk themselves and for having underage drinking. And then you have to worry about like why that happened. Why is nobody being held accountable for any of that? Like, none of it. Like, well, that is all they seem to say. And that's like half the problem, right? That's it. Like, like, come on. Really? Like, and I could have told you, like this one, so much corruption on the social, I could have told you that, 20 years ago. Like, that's half the problem, right? That's literally the problem. I read the stuff. Yes, I read the stuff that was entered in today. The discs and the no notes from the Canton or Mass State Police. They say they don't exist, but again, pretty sure they exist. Like, and no, Lunchbox does not really have a fucking theory. Like, I'm not. I haven't seen a warrant for the car, but again, there's a lot of stuff we don't have. So,
I think he has probable cause to seize the car. I don't think he needs
probably that's what happened. I'm guessing the probable cause is probably where they seized the
Yeah.
vehicle. They need a warrant when you have probable cause, but I haven't seen any warrants. So like again, there's a lot of stuff we have not seen. Like, it is what it is. Like there's nothing else we could do. Yes, the tickets are $20 each. Also remember they're 3 for 50 and 7 for 100. And the first $50 tonight is matched by an anonymous donor. So if you get 3 tickets for $50 tonight, you'll actually get 6 tickets. So, or if you get 1 ticket, you'll get a second one because that's only 20. And then whoever gets 1 more will get 1 more. And then if someone donates 10, another 10 will be donated. So it's up to $50. So if you're the first person, you decide you want to spend 50 and get 3 tickets, you'll actually get 6 and usually get 7 for 100. So, I mean, it's a really good package. You guys should check it out. Seriously. Also, I'm trying to raise the money. There's a reason the money is trying to be raised so quickly, and it would definitely help out.
It's for a very good cause.
It is.
To explain it, where he's going is places that people don't go. Like he's invited to the
National. It's a national.
It is the Super Bowl. It is the
Of
World
softball.
Series.
Yeah.
It is the NASCAR. It's Daytona 500. It's everything all wrapped up in one. It's the combination of everything, and it's the best players go there, and that's where they pull their players for their leagues that people pay to watch. So for him to even get an invite is
Big.
massive, and to let money kind of get in the way of him going down there for that is, we can do better. So,
Yeah, it'll also be like he'll probably never get a chance to play with his brother. His brother was also invited, so that's it's a once in a lifetime there. And it's also during his birthday week. It just happens to be during that week, so it would be real shitty if money got in the way of not being able to bring him down there, and then he has to sit here during his birthday week.
While he's playing. That would be bad. No.
That would be really shitty. Like, and again, like these are the best of the best we're talking about here. Like, he did a lot of work to qualify to get there to begin with, playing travel ball, and he's a phenomenal player. If you've ever seen him play, right? Like if any of you have seen him play, you already know. I don't even need to tell you. So like
you don't get people don't get invites to, like, this is Willy Wonka ticket type of stuff. You get this is golden ticket type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Willy Wonka stuff, really. That type of it's that big of an event. So, and for him to be that skilled and that qualified to be there, he should be there.
Should. He definitely should. But yep, so that's that. So you guys should check it out. It would also, it's going to a good cause, and I appreciate all the support that I get from you guys. I really, really do. Whether it's $7.77 that Teresa sent earlier, or a $50 3 raffle tickets, like it means a lot because I do a lot of work, and it's not cheap to run a page. It's not, you got to pay for softwares and stuff to be able to do all this. And I do a lot of work like behind the scenes. Like I'm, document diving and pulling FOIA and, talking to, witnesses and people like in different cases. Like it's a lot of work.
Just the reading time alone is
Oh
crazy.
God, astronomical.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
dude, I really wish that like I could invent something that just like reads it quickly for you. But like, I know they have like those things where you can, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like something that literally
I haven't found one. I'm looking. I know exactly.
Remembers it for you and then like puts it in your head and just all of a sudden you know it and you don't even have to read it and it's like voila. It's like
Elon Musk is coming up with that right now. No, seriously, you can put memory inside your head.
Dude, it's crazy talk.
Implantable memory device. Wait till you have a blue screen.
It's not a softball league, Tina. It's nationals for softball. It's travel nationals. So it's the league. It's not like a regular like.
No,
he plays in multiple leagues all over the place. This is travel. The teams have to actually like create points to be able to go to this and be invited to it. So it's a big thing. It's it's a big thing. Drones, yeah, I know. I think about that. You guys think that there's like drone that because you got to remember. So my brother has a really expensive drone, and when he goes, far up, like you can't even see the thing. You wouldn't even know it was there, and he can literally zoom right in on you. Like you would not know that thing was watching you at all. Like I've thought about that. Like I literally have thought about that. Like
they go so high that you can't hear them.
He did that. It was just his nephew, but he did give up the full baseball scholarship in college to help take care of his nephew. He 100% did that. So yeah, he does deserve to go. Hey, listen, Colombian brew is good. Sometimes you need it, right? Like sometimes you need it. Like, but I have thought about the drones. I have thought about the drones because you have to remember the cops use those. They even the Boston, I think it was it was the state police. They paid for these very expensive, very illegal drones that did a lot of stuff that they're not supposed, like using a lot of softwares for like
capturing cell information from people and it's unwarranted
like data that they just scooping up all the data. So if you don't think that they probably have that here, like stop it. They've been using it for a while.
They get a balloon over Washington, D.C. that flies up in the air that we can't see from here, but it protects us right here from missiles. And that's in Washington, D.C., way far away.
Actually, talking to a guy who used to be in the CIA. And he tells me that this is so crazy, right? That the technology that they have now, it's like oh my God, it's so crazy the way he explained it. But in layman's terms, it's literally like a force field around America that they can put up that would stop like a nuke. Literally just boop right out the sky. And I'm like,
they send so much electricity up in the air that when the missiles fly through, it scrambles. The missile traveling through the air, actually they connect with it with the ions in the air. They connect with it and they can short the freaking missile out. It's stupid technology.
Yeah, stupid. So that's what I'm saying. Like the geofencing in this isn't even like they have that goddamn geofence. Like come on. That's utterly ridiculous. Like
Boston has stingrays. If Canton wanted, they could get them from Boston and run them here.
Mass State Police has them too. Stingrays. They have them. They literally have them.
They got helicopters too.
They got all sorts of fucking shit. And it's like
they got really nice stuff.
World's Abby. It's the Super Bowl of softball. It's literally that's how it's the easiest way to explain it. It's pinnacle. Yeah.
Top tier. Like that, you don't go any higher. That's they make these leagues from these players. So you
go higher, but it's paid professional ball, and that's where you aim. It's paid professional ball. It's an easy way to be scouted for paid professional ball for sure, to be seen for your play. And the best of the best, put their boots on and go. Yeah, Powerball. I wish I won. Just lost over 100 billion. I wish. If I won 100 billion on Powerball, every single person who watches me would be rich as well. Like,
Someone probably didn't even win. Wait till it hit. It'll go next week. It'll be like twice.
I wonder about that too. I can hear the train. You guys hear the train, the purple line outside?
Whoa, whoa. On YouTube, Jen, inside 34 Viet.
Well, there's the footage of inside, like what it looks like inside. Like I think from like the realtor or whatever it was.
Oh, like the home walkthrough pictures.
Like what it looks like, yeah, inside. Like again, I've talked to people who were in there as like who used to hang out there as kids in that house. And I guess that house was in the family for like a really long time, from what I understand. And the stairs to the basement, I guess, are semi steep. So, 50, yeah. Facts, me too. No, it's not. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's from Microdots, Chrissy. I don't think it's from Microdots, but there was a, like a thing from the realtor, like pictures or whatever it was from the realtor, unless this is something different.
No,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. It shows the furniture and yeah, 50 years. Yeah, exactly. They had it They had it in the family for a really, really, really long time. And so it is kind of odd that you would sell it after that and for less than 50,000 are asking, when people were getting 100 grand over asking at that point when that house was sold. You could have easily waited a month or two and got over. So, I mean, yeah, a little strange. Definitely a little strange. No doubt about that. Like, I mean,
he had the basement floor redone 3 times.
Yeah. Yep. But I want to know what the water table is over there. Anybody know? Anybody know what the water table is over on Fairview? I mean, I think we all feel like that, Billy. But again, I'd like to hear from them. Like, wouldn't you guys like to hear from them? Like, I'd like to hear anything they have to say of substance. Anything whatsoever. Give me something.
I'll throw it out there. I'll sit down with anybody. I'll go to them. Wherever they're at, I'll go. I'll sit down. Have a meeting. Convince me. Give me something that I don't know.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
Just
like it's that simple. Like
show me how John's injuries match up to the car. Like show me. Like because the state police haven't.
No.
The Canton police haven't. Nope. No, I mean I no one's been able to.
The first thing you look at, and that's the first thing you look at in this case, is those autopsy photos, and that's the only thing you see in this case. And somebody tells you that he was hit by a car, people are gonna look at you like you fucking just saw Jesus. Like you got a better chance of seeing God than him being hit by that car. Like it's just, I'm sorry, there's no injuries to his body from the neck down. There's nothing but what there's a little like sort of like scratch mark here on his side. That's from them moving him onto the, and then doing compressions, like them moving him to the hospital and whatnot. Other than that, there's nothing from here down. If you were hit by a car, impact zone, whether it was chest, stomach, torso, even if it, say for instance, it hit him in the pelvis, the impact that they're claiming that he would have been hit would have broke his femur. Okay.
And other things.
But your femur is literally the hardest bone in your body to break. And I've had 2 friends that have broken that femur with impacts of car accidents. One that was thrown in the backseat of her car and has a traumatic brain injury from it. Well, so there's that.
Think of the leg whip at 6 feet 2 inches he must have got.
Right.
Wow. Like he would have broken both his legs easily.
No, absolutely easily if it was the impact that they're claiming. And that's why like the story just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't. Like, I don't know. Maybe they want to talk. Maybe they want to talk and they just don't think that anybody will let them. I don't know. I just want to throw it out there. You know what I mean? Like I'll throw it out there. Let's talk. I did get a friend request from D&E Albert today. So I don't know. Maybe they want to talk. I don't know.
That's what
it wasn't the same. Yeah, it wasn't the same house that had the pool filled. And that was Tim Albert's house. Different house. Right. Different family member, but not the same house.
Still I don't know. Still sketchy the way they went about it. But yeah,
$200K on. I mean, I don't think much of the pool, honestly. I mean, they could have, prepared that. That could have been something they were going to do beforehand. And honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, my husband worked on pools for 10 years. Like he built them above and, like those can easily be just ripped up. Like, I mean, what would you really put in there that wouldn't be ripped up? You know what I mean? It would be kind of fucking stupid, but I don't know. I mean, people do stupid shit, I guess. I don't know. I just don't think there's anything there. I think that was just kind of they already planned it, but whatever.
Suzanne, right? She says BA made 200,000 right on the record in 2002. Why sell undervalue?
2022. Yeah.
Right. Well, he made that. He reached his cap. I think he like maxed out of his pay grades, pay level, and all that whatnot. So he was
Yeah, he
capped
did.
out, and he was just retired, right?
Yep.
He just
September
retired.
1st.
So of course the higher it goes by, I think the last 2 or 3 years they look back based
Highest. It takes the highest 3 years.
or something like that and
Yep.
calculates your retirement. So that's why he worked that
Yep.
amount. Because that's based his retirement on that.
Yep.
And why did he dump the house? He dumped the house at $50,000 less just to get away from it.
I mean, obviously.
After he spent, I don't know what, 20, 30,000 on a new floor down in the cellar.
But again, that was not just his house. That was he grew up in that house. It was a family house. That was a house that they grew up in and you know, were kids in. So, I mean, I'm telling you right now, the house that they sold that I grew up in Weymouth and South Weymouth, I would buy that house right now if I could.
Yep.
I want that house back. Eventually one day if they ever put that house on the market, I don't care what I have to do to buy it. I want it because I have all my childhood memories there. I want that house back. Like bottom line, my grandparents sold it when I was like 18. My grandfather died of pancreatic cancer and my grandmother moved into the summer cottage that they had and winterized it in Rocky Nook in Kingston instead of keeping the house in South Weymouth. And my grandmother regretted it later on. So I would want that house back. I would never want to sell that house. And yes, it is extremely difficult to break a taillight. And those Lexus taillights were actually made to break inward, not outward. So there's that. Yeah, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Exactly.
By the way,
shoulders, knees, and toes. Exactly. Billy.
You know, yeah.
That's another thing that somebody said. I remember it was either the prosecution.
That guy hit the taillight with that piece of meat. Remember that slab of ribs he was hitting it with?
Yes.
He hurt himself. He like smashed his hand because it came back and hit his hand.
Yep, I remember that.
And it didn't even break the light.
Nope. Again, impact, right? It's hard to break one of those, especially on a newer Lexus. They were made better. That's the whole point. And they were made to break inward, not outward.
Okay, so I understand that. So you want like a downward view of the house and like the family room where all the kids were in. And
but again, it says 11. Someone else said so the prosecution, I think it said 11 or Lally. Someone said 11. I know of 9. Where's the other 2?
Right. Remember we had that discussion? We were trying to figure it out.
Who's the other 2?
Jen McCabe's daughter. Had to be Jen McCabe's daughter. Had to be one of them.
Caitlin Albert?
She showed up there to give him a ride home, didn't she?
I mean, are they counting like Julie Nagel and her brother? Because they're saying 11. Where's the 11?
Julie didn't leave till late. She get a ride home by Jen.
Right, but like, are you counting Ryan Nagel? Because where do you get 11? Is my point. When they listed them in the documents, I got 9. Where's 11? What were the other 2?
We couldn't figure it out. Remember?
Right.
And we just don't want to assume that it's Nagel because the other people in the vehicle, they witnessed what he witnessed, right?
That's true. So yeah, I've said that.
Well, listen, if you look at the street and the picture I took sums it up, if you draw a straight line, she would have to curve around the hydrant because the road turns, the road almost bends.
Yes,
so
it does.
That dead end. It's just a little slight curve and
a little curve.
It's right there.
Yep.
Before the flower bed. So she would have to knock the hydrant off and keep going to knock John to put him where he ended up in front of the flower bed there.
Right. And that's the problem.
She would have had to run that hydrant over at that speed. There's no way. She could not have gone around the hydrant and hit him to put him where he did.
Well, I'm waiting for them to tell us that that's what happened in the back of his head was the hydrant. Like, I'm waiting for that to be the thing. So then my question would be, where the hell did you take any samples is there samples of the paint of the hydrant in the back of John's head? Where are those samples? I'd like to see them.
I forget where I said it. If I was behind Karen's Lexus and I had crutches, and I could only use one of my legs. If she was backing up, I guarantee with on crutches I could get out of the way without her knowing I was anywhere there. Put me anywhere, and I can get myself from not being hit on crutches when she's in reverse. I can be invisible. She will not touch me.
It's just like
no. It's so much no.
There's just so much no.
no.
So much like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I mean, and that's the thing. So I've said this, 2 people, not 1. 2 people would have had to carry John. Carried, not dragged, carried. So, because there's no drag marks, well, at least that we know of, and there's no blood trail. So they would have had to carry John.
Well, don't forget there was snow on them. They could have got a sled.
Well, the snow underneath him was melted.
Yeah.
I mean, the sled, again, it's just another piece of evidence, though, that you'd be leaving. Like, why am I frozen? Why am I frozen here?
So
I'm frozen, and I don't know why.
There you come.
Am I unfrozen?
Loading. I got a little circle there.
I was gonna say I'm not unfrozen on my own screen, so I'm still frozen.
Yeah, black.
What the hell?
It's just I just have one square on my side. Oh, now I'm full screen. Hey, everybody.
I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, I know why.
Why?
The show reached the amount of allocated bandwidth, I think.
No, it does its own. The bandwidth has nothing to do. I don't.
It's for the per stream, isn't it?
No.
I saw something when I was reading the other day.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, so when it comes to moving a body, it's really hard to move a body. It's dead weight, legitimately dead weight. There you are. Hey, they unfrozen. So it's really hard. It's really hard to move a dead body. It's you need 2 burly people.
Yeah, well, at least 2 people. I could carry it, but you got to give me another person. Like, I can't do it myself. There's no fucking way. Well, yeah, that's my point. Is if there was paint, if they're gonna claim that John hit his head on the fire hydrant, then there would have been pieces of the paint in that wound, right? Like,
right.
Or the car. If it was the car, where are the pieces of the paint from Karen's car in his, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's
first thing that touches the paint to the skin. That's going to get embedded and driven into the skin first before the skin opens up to a wound. So,
details are not used, so they can do all the details they want to make extra income. That's usually what they do. Is do all the details and stuff.
Yep. I mean, if you hustle, you can make a lot of money on details. Easy
so this right here, there is as much evidence that Karen Read killed John O'Keefe as there is evidence that Bobby Orr killed John O'Keefe. Like, literally, it doesn't exist. At least that we've seen, because we don't have all of it. But, like, what we do have contradicts everything that the prosecution is claiming, and that's a fucking problem. Like,
Bobby Orr was surgical with that puck. That boy would put that puck where he was surgical. I don't,
Maybe call Caitlin Tristan. I don't know. Yeah, they say 11. Where do they get 11 from? I don't know.
Listen, what about the brother? What about the other brother?
Brian Albert Jr.? What do you mean? Brian Albert Jr.?
Yeah.
What about him?
I mean, wasn't he like...
He's in that list of people. Brian Albert Jr.
Counted.
Nicole Albert, Caitlin Albert, Chris Albert, Colin Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Julie Nagel, Higgins. How many is that?
9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who's the last one?
Who was the guy that went over? No. Not Higgins.
Higgins was there.
Who's the other guy?
The nurse. Chrissy, that says the nurse. It's the nurse. Yeah, I forget her name.
No, the other guy. The guy that's pointing to Brian Albert. Who's that?
What do you mean?
In that video.
I don't know.
It's not it. All right, whatever. I'm thinking something else.
Again, I don't know who did it, but what I do know is it took at least 2 people to move him. So there's that.
No. I don't know if Matt McCabe is the guy to do it.
And there's definitely, yeah, but there's definitely, yeah. Well, I
I,
think
I,
most people think
I
Brian
can
Albert.
see I can see Matt McCabe passing out over on the sight of blood. I can't see it happening. He's just
Yeah.
he's in this type. I think he was honored to be there.
Maybe.
That was the driver. Probably
Scanlon.
the driver.
Sarah the nurse. Yes, Sarah. That was her name. Sarah.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Man, these guys are good. This audience is awesome, man. Awesome.
So, Levinson, that's it. Sarah Levinson. That's her name. That's right. That's right.
These guys.
That's the nurse. Levinson. Thank you. My brain was on fart mode. I knew it, but like my brain was like, not today, Lise. Like,
thank you guys. Thank you guys.
I don't want to get it wrong because the other day I apologize. I retract. I was tired and my brain said Brian Albert was looking out the door, and what I meant was Matt McCabe was looking out the front storm door. I was tired and my brain wasn't working, so I apologize for that the other night. But yes, Sarah Levinson. That was the other person. That was the nurse. Yeah. The dog dragged him outside. But again, where are the damn drag marks? Like I feel like they had to have picked him up. They had to have picked him up and put him out there, right? Like not dragged him. Put him.
Again, out back of the house, I think it was a bulkhead door, a walkout cellar.
There is a bulkhead out back of the house. So
incident happens in the cellar, and they say, quick, take him outside because he's bleeding all over the place. They take him out there, they leave him out the back door, let him calm down, cool off or whatever, and then they decide what they're going to do, and they clean up downstairs. But they kick everybody out so that they can clean the downstairs. They spend all night cleaning downstairs. Jen goes home. Then they take and they move the body at like when Lucky saw the vehicle there, because the vehicle is exactly correct to block the passage from the side of the house to the front of the street. It's perfect.
Right.
Perfect block. If you've been there and you see how the terrain is and stuff, yes. And
you do have to look at it. Like you got to, I mean, again,
we got to do something. We have to go over there and take pictures of how small this is.
That's what I was going to say. So those pictures, somebody else took one that does it, but it doesn't do it justice because the yard, like in the pictures that you guys have seen of the yard, the one that like Turtle Boy has in his background, it makes the yard. Wow. See, that's my brain. The lard. Yep. The yard look extremely big. It is not big. It is very small and it's short to the street. Like you have to kind of see it for yourself to appreciate how friggin' small it actually is and to think that these people came out of the house and didn't see anything at all. Like there's no fucking way, dude. At least from my perspective. They got a better explanation. I'd love to hear it, but we're not hearing anything from them. Like, so, but I mean, I think, Crystal, that is a very good theory. I mean, again, if you don't talk about different scenarios, like how do you get to the truth? You don't, right? Like I like this theory. This is kind of a cool theory. Her theory is if you look outside the box, she says Jen McCabe invited John, and she did, to the Alberts. She kept texting him. She said, hello, park behind me, she said. Said Matt McCabe is sick of his wife flirting with other men. It's usually the quiet ones. So like it's a good theory. Like
I believe Jen was there just like a honey trap, just to lure him. I don't know what she did, but Jen was responsible for making sure John was back at that house. She texted him. She called him. She made sure that he was going back to the house. She didn't want Karen. She wanted John back to the house. She wanted John back. That was her mission.
That's why Karen said go in and make sure like the invite was extended to me because I didn't hear the invite extended to me. Right. And so she didn't know, like, is this cool? Is this not cool? You go in, you tell me. And then I'll come in if it's cool. If it's not, like, we'll leave. Like,
if Jen McCabe gets on the stand and puts her hand on the Bible, I'm still not going to believe her.
Well, I mean,
I don't believe that type of person can tell the truth. Sorry.
Yvette Thomas says Karen Reed will be acquitted unless the state decides to drop the case before it goes to trial. No way a jury would convict her. I don't think there's any chance in hell that a jury would convict her.
They
There's
can't.
too much
There's no
reasonable
way.
doubt in this case. There's no fucking chance in hell that happens whatsoever.
But then
But I don't think the state drops it, because I grew up in Quincy, where Morrissey's from, and I'll tell you right now,
ooh,
that wonderful human being over there is going to triple double down. Like, he's not letting it go, because he's Michael Morrissey and he can do whatever he wants. Rah, rah, rah. Like, he's not going to drop it. He's just not.
it's yeah.
You know, like, he's not going to. No, I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Again, if Jen's only job was to get him there, and the other people's job was to kind of rough him up and tell him how it was going to be. You know, everyone has a job. Matt McCabe was lookout. That was his job. Look outside. You know, that's all he's
Right.
good for. Look out the door. You're playing lookout. That was his job, and he did it. And I don't think it was jealousy.
The ground is frozen, so it won't absorb all that blood.
It would freeze. It'd be a big puddle. He'd be frozen to the puddle.
Not enough for it all to disappear. Well, that's the thing. At least we would see, like, in the
No,
pictures, you
no.
can see
It'll
some like
it'll
drop.
coagulate. You'll see it.
But
it wouldn't be. It would be everywhere.
It would coagulate eventually. So what happens? What that means is, when blood is in a tube and air gets to it and it's not secure correctly, it pools together and makes like a blob, basically, of blood, and that's coagulation. And that is kind of what it would do if. But if you're claiming he was out there that long, then there should be some coagulated blood, and it would look a lot darker. It'd be like a red, deep maroon color. It wouldn't be like brand new dark pink red spots. It would be like coagulated because it's been there a while. Like, and in the pictures you're seeing this, you see spots and where the snow melted underneath him, where he was laying. But again, tell me how his phone gets underneath him. That's another weird thing. It's not in his pocket. It's underneath him.
Magic phone.
Right. The Ford Edge is out there at 3:30 in the morning. Lucky sees nobody at about a little bit past 2:30. You know, I mean, Billy makes a good point. Says we're judging books by their cover, which you should probably never do. Now, in my opinion, you should never do that. He said Colin Albert looks the most like an angry murderer. I mean,
listen, all these comments are great, right? And I can see them. I understand where they're coming from, okay? But above all these comments, what trumps all this and what is such a travesty is the thought that John's clothes that it were not preserved properly. Like I need to make sure for my own sake that the right things were done with his clothes to protect the evidence that was on it, because there was evidence on John's clothes, whether he got hit by a car or went into that house. Either way, his clothes will tell you where he was. Absolutely will.
There definitely would have been at least some inkling of a dog hair or something on his clothes that would have said he was in that house.
The other person's blood.
Anything saying that he was in that house.
If he kept that out of a refrigerated sample, then that's destroyed.
They can still get stuff from non-refrigerated samples, but just not all the stuff you would get from one that was correctly.
Well, that's improper evidence type of stuff. That's wrong. You might as well just throw it away and say like you lost it. Like, oh, you can't use that. Use that for the library footage. You need something else.
Chrissy has a good point. So many things could have went down, but one thing is 100% sure is that Karen didn't hit him. Like that's a fact.
If something like this did happen, they would absolutely have video of it. Somebody would have video say, "Look, I got proof."
Lucky would have viewed a body. Why? Because it was where he was looking. Why? Because a fire hydrant is his concern, making sure it's not impeded by snow. And I've said this numerous times because I've plowed. I know. Like you have to look, and you're looking literally for the curb so you don't fuck up the plow blade, because those things cost at the very least $20,000, and then going up for how big it is from there, depending on what kind of truck you're driving. And you're looking to the curb. You also have to look both ways, front and back, to the curb, make sure nobody comes behind you, in front of you. And every time you move the lever to put the plow down, you're still looking, you're stopping, you're looking, go to push the snow, you're doing the same thing. So literally he would have had to look eye level down. He's looking down towards the curb. You would have seen a body sitting there. Like there's no if ands or buts. You're not going to see a 6'2", 200 and something pound body. You're going to. Frostbite. That's a good one too. We talked about that. The frostbite. That there would be. Sean said something a while back about Matt McCabe taking on golf course, saying the police are going to think I killed John O'Keefe. I didn't hear that.
Maybe he made reference to comments about like he's going to be accused of murdering John next or something like that. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah, well, interesting. That's an interesting statement to make. But I mean, again, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'd be worried about somebody being accused as much as if I was looking more guilty. Like, why not just give up your phone? I get it. You have other private stuff on it, and that's the argument that his lawyers Henning is giving is, well, his privacy and his private life and privacy. But this is a murder investigation. Wouldn't you just want to get it over with and be like, okay, here you go. I didn't do anything wrong. Just fucking take it so that like everybody stops accusing me of murder. Like, wouldn't you want to do that if that was the case? Like, I would. I mean,
time out. This is somebody that was invited into his house.
Right.
This was a guest of his. Right. Ended up dead in the front lawn of his house. A guest that was invited. Had no other reason to be there. None. Unless Jennifer McCabe brings him there. Zero reason to be there. Jen McCabe is there. And guess what? Karen stayed in the car. And if John didn't want to go there, John would have went home. So guess what? John wanted to go. He was there. John went to 34 Fairview. He went inside.
He wanted to go.
He didn't drive there to get hit by a car. He had he was getting there, running in, running back out. Didn't happen that way. He walked in. He walked into the wrong place at the wrong time. Colin flipped his lid, I'm sure.
Brian
what
Higgins,
are you doing here?
That was present at 34 Fairview Road the night John O'Keefe was murdered. He left the party to log into his workstation after 1 a.m. Yeah, we all find that to be a little weird too. Like, okay, you went out drinking, you left the party, and then you went to work after drinking as an ATF agent? I'm confused. Why? You weren't scheduled to work right that time, so why did you go into work? That's a little strange. Like, come on now.
I heard a theory about that.
Well, his phone was found under him. It was found underneath his body. And again, he's laying on his back. Why is your phone underneath your back? Do you think another neighborhood dog? Comments gold right here. Do you think another neighborhood dog was just trying to frame Chloe? Oh, God, that is the best. I love it.
You know, people say the dog bites, there's only a bite on the top, none on the bottom. The dog's teeth in the bottom aren't meant to bite. They're meant to hold. Dog's teeth on the top are meant to bite through everything.
Right. They're meant to tear meat.
Right.
The whole point is to tear apart meat.
The top teeth.
My daughter has a German Shepherd as a service dog, and his name is Maui. And he thinks he's a lap dog, and he is very much not a lap dog. He is he's a very big boy with very big paws and a very big body and a very big head and some real sharp teeth. Like, again, German Shepherds are trained when they're trained to attack, they're trained to attack this arm, your dominant arm. And most of the time, this is a stance that you would give as a defensive stance. So what I would call those are defensive wounds. Defensive wounds. In my opinion, those are defensive wounds on his arm. The medical examiner could not explain. So the prosecution claims that they said it weren't from a dog. The medical examiner did not say that. What the medical examiner said was, all I can say about them is I do not know how they got there. They're there. I measured them and they exist. That's what she said. She did not say they weren't caused by an animal attack. She said, I don't know what they're from, and all I can say is they're there, and I measured them, and
that's like Matt McCabe saying that Jen didn't Google it because Lally said something about it in court, which doesn't make it true.
Right. Again, so,
there's things that are factual and true, but because somebody says them doesn't make them so.
Estrella, usually there's both. Usually there's regular bulbs and LED bulbs because Plow doesn't just have headlights. Plow has overhead lights and high beams and backlights sometimes, depending on the truck, and side lights. So again, they have different bulbs and different lights. And again, it depends on the plow. Some plows are driven by a regular pickup truck. Some plows are driven like a dump truck. Like it depends. Like literally, you can put a plow on a lot of different kinds of vehicles, skid steers and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So again, most of the time you're either going to mix of the two, but they're very bright. It literally lights up everything like you're in a movie set. Like you can see everything. And it's that way for a reason, so you don't hit anything, hurt anyone, damage property, because then the city, if you're working for a city or a town, has to pay for that.
When I had my plow on my dump truck, I had to have my lights set above the top of my plow blade.
Yep.
Okay. And then they had to be high enough so that when I raised my plow blade up, I could still use my headlights. Because the ones that are on the front of the vehicle that are flush flat with the front of the truck, the plow blocks the plow blocks them. You can't see. So you need your external head. So the ones that we put above are a lot more brighter, and we put a lot more of them because we need them to see.
Yep. And again, some of them are stationed on the arm that holds the plow blade onto the truck, and some of them are stationed like further above. It's again, every truck is different when it comes to plowing because every person sets their truck up differently. But again, it's bright no matter what. Usually you kind of get a mix of both halogen and LED.
It has to be bright because that's the brightness is what keeps you awake actually all through the night, because most of the times the storms are at night and you need the light to,
Poor Tom Beatty. Yeah, Tom Beatty and his daughter. Yeah, that still gets me.
That explains why Jen called them so many times to give him shit, because they were giving Jen information about the dog and all this stuff. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible.
I mean, you can't be threatening people, dude. You can't do that. Like, that's not, I mean, come on, stop it. Like, it's just insanity. Like, you threaten a man about his daughter keeping quiet. But good for Tom Beatty for standing up for himself and not just taking this shit and being silent, because we got a lot of silent troopers right now. And my Twisted Troopers are not silent. They're anything but silent. That's why I love you guys. None of my Twisted Troopers are silent. But these people, extremely silent. Like, there's so many people that probably could say stuff, and there are people behind the scenes who won't say stuff. Like, it's just, I've had messages from people who are like, we're still afraid. Like, we're afraid to even speak up in our own town that we live in, never mind, and I've had law enforcement say that, like, they know Karen didn't do it. Like, this is why they don't show up to the courthouse, because normally like the Chesna trial, you'll see cops come filing into these court cases to show the support for the officer that died, and they're not doing that here. And it's their way of saying, like, this isn't okay and we're not supporting this. So, like, it's the best way that they can speak up without speaking up. Like, and it's shitty, because the fact that they think that even cops are afraid to say something is sad. Like, that's a problem. It's a very big problem. Like, they can get, but that's the Fed, but the feds probably already have all that, though. The feds probably have all of that. It doesn't matter if they hand over the phones. The feds can get all the same info from the carrier. The physical phone is just see if they deleted calls. No.
Correct. No, yes.
The physical phone, you can, yes and no. What I'm saying is the feds already have all that. The feds have whatever the hell they need.
They can go directly to the carrier direct and say to Sprint or T-Mobile,
right?
Or give me this
phone
number.
Which is great. That's fine. The feds probably have already done all of that. What we're more concerned about is the state allowing the defense to have it, because that's the fight we're having right now. Is the state is not allowing the defense to have, they're arguing to get these things, and that matters more than what the feds are doing. Because if the feds don't put a hammer down before this trial starts, which I don't think they will, I think this trial happens and she gets found not guilty. But either way, we go to this trial. We need that evidence. The defense needs that evidence to use. And so we're having this fight over the phones, and it's like the defense can't just get a warrant and get the phones like the prosecution can. They can't just do that. They have to ask the judge. And as we know, the judge isn't too keen on giving anybody anything that has to do with the defense. Like, John, how did he get to the waterfall? I'm pretty sure he met up with Karen. He was out with friends beforehand.
Yes. That couple. I think he was with that couple, wasn't he?
He was with someone.
I think he was with the couple that went to the grand jury that went to Karen's house.
Yeah, I can't remember who he was out with friends, is what I remember. He was out with friends and then met up with Karen.
Oh, she met up with him. And by all accounts, with all the
Yeah.
video, they weren't arguing.
No. I mean, no.
I'm sure they had a disagreement in the car.
Oh, yeah, 100%. They
I
probably
don't want to go. I want to go. I don't want to
I
go.
think the disagreement was more, you need to go make sure it's okay and it's cool. And I'm going to stay here, because that is what they talked about. And then when he didn't come out, Karen got mad because
It
the
must
Aruba
not have been
thing-
cool, and I'm bailing. I'm out of here.
Well, I'm bailing because the thing he pulled in Aruba when on New Year's Eve, he left her with the kids in the hotel room and went and got drunk, didn't come home until 3 a.m. So this was already an issue. So when he didn't come out right away and wasn't answering or wasn't texting her to say it was cool, she was like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck this. The house is, you have to remember, people are like, well, why would she leave him there? It wasn't that far. He could have walked if he wanted to.
It was 10 minutes away, not that far. But in the
So,
blizzard,
like,
you
he could have
wouldn't.
walked,
Yeah.
or Ubered, or
Yep.
Lyfted. Like, nowadays, it's easy enough to get an Uber or a Lyft. You don't really need to, like, call a cab company, or if this is a Brian Alberts, if he knows him, like, you could have stayed at the house. Like, there's numerous things, but I'm not waiting around forever sitting in this fucking car for you when you're not coming out. Like, screw that. I'm going home. You can fucking figure it out because you're not answering me. Like, I don't.
I think he walked in there not expecting to see what he did. I think he walked in on Colin and somebody. I don't think he was there for the after party. I think he was there for something else. I think they were going back for the after party. But I think that maybe Jen was going to give him something, or I have something for you, or it'll help you with whatever's giving you an issue, or that drug investigation, or maybe she had something. I'm going to give you video footage or whatever it is. And John's going to says, I'll be right back. I'm going to run in. Karen's like, nope, I don't, he didn't run in. He went in to have a couple drinks. I ain't playing this game. Screw you.
But their whole theory rests on that taillight and the voicemail Karen left saying, I fucking hate you. You're not, I would have left my voicemail would have been worse. I'd have been like, you want to get stabbed in your sleep. Like, that's what you want. You have a death wish, right?
Listen,
obviously, I would never, I'm not going to actually murder someone. Like, you don't, just because you say you hate someone doesn't mean you're like, oh, I'm going to murder you. No, it's because you're upset at the time. People say a lot of fucking bad things when they're upset. That's life.
It's a normal reaction.
It's an absolutely normal reaction. The pictures can be sent to another medical examiner for a second opinion, Beach Life. They can. Yes, they can.
I think they were by
they probably were.
Alan Jackson. Had someone in California look at them.
Yep. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, Tom Beatty did confront them and did post on Facebook about it. He did. Yep. But TV did go to one of the games and confront them as well. So yeah, there was two different things that happened there. If you're confused about it, there's two different things. So yeah. Let's be nice to each other. You guys are usually pretty good. You guys are usually pretty good to each other.
Yeah, everyone's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, that's all we have. That John's phone was underneath is Jen McCabe's word. But even if that is true, that fucks up the prosecution's theory anyway, right? Like, again, the theory that he died at 12:25 when he answered the phone at 12:30, whatever it was. And then the statement that Karen didn't pull off until 12:45 when we know she was home by 12:41.
And we know it takes 11 minutes to get from 34 Fairview to One Meadows, wherever John was.
Took John's house, yeah.
11 minutes.
Right.
That's how long it takes. Jen McCabe drove that route that morning. Took her 11 minutes from A to B. Timed.
Right.
We know that to be true.
Yeah. The medical examiner that did John's autopsy was not board certified. Well, also you have to remember that very same medical examiner in a different case when she was in New York.
Yeah, over there.
Scordi-Bello, that the medical examiner, when she did, there was another case she did in New York, and she found the cause of death, manner of death, and then the DA sent a couple people over there, and she changed it after they told her, basically in not so many words, like, oh, well, this is what happened. And so she changed it. And so we don't know. We do know that there was an original death certificate that the defense now has that they didn't have before. So there is something that was changed on it at one point. And there's some, I mean, you can't really change much. You can't change your sex, your age, your height, your weight, like your name. You can't change any of that shit. What you can change is manner or cause of death. And so I that's my theory is they changed the manner or cause of death, and that would be in line with what Scotty Bello has done previously in New York. So I mean, take it however you want it. Like I mean, that's a good theory. John had someone in the headlock. He was laying on his back while he had them in a headlock, and that's how the dog had access to John's arm. I mean, I think you guys got some really great theories. Like there's some great thinkers here. Like, and that is what I love is being able to sort of talk about what other people think, because no one's ever going to be 100% right on what actually happened. No one knows except for John, who can't tell us anymore, and the people who were there, right? So
and we can only put the pieces together, and
we can opine. We can subsequently opine, like Your Honor, we can subsequently opine the exhaustive testing, Your Honor. Lally 2.0.
Listen, that boy's gonna have more folders. You know
I
that, right? He's gonna have a lot more folders, right?
Oh yeah, lots of folders. Yeah, his statement that like everything that all he ever says is that that whatchamacallit is that the defense is ridiculous. Everything they say is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. Like, buddy, you're utterly ridiculous. Like, yes, cousins by marriage. Yeah, everything's by marriage. They're not like blood related. Like,
yeah. There's no other town I know of that's like that.
Yeah, well, she already said, Auntie Bev already said no on Brian Albert's one. That's why it is up at the Supreme Judicial Court for them to decide. So, Miss Peacock, the Twitter thing from last night. I have no idea, actually. I use Twitter, but I don't use Twitter all that much. I use it, I go on every day, but not as much as I use like Facebook or, any of the other social medias. But, I mean, I have no idea who Miss Peacock is or what that was really about, but I'm obviously guessing that they're related or work with someone involved in this case or work in like the DA's office or the police station or the court. Like, by the way he said, we know where you work, your employer wouldn't be too happy. I'm guessing that's the scenario. I don't actually know, but
I haven't heard that name until
12:41. 12:41 is what time you can hear the garage door closing in the voicemail.
12:41. She's walking with her heels on the cement floor in the garage, so she's out of the vehicle at 12:41 in the garage.
Yep. So that's what time we know of that she'd have been. So she couldn't have possibly left Fairview at 12:45. So I mean, it's yeah. He was with some guy friends of his. Yep. And then he met up with Karen. So, well, that she wasn't. She was with him, and so she went out with him. He knew Brian Albert. So Karen went with him. I mean, I've gone with my husband to meet friends that I've never met before. And that's how do you become friends with people if you don't go and meet people, right? Like, I'm a people person. So like, I like people. I like to meet people.
And so there was no disagreement at the bar amongst anybody there.
Nope.
So,
they were all having a good time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've hung up with people I don't know before. That's how you make friends, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
Especially if you're with your boyfriend.
Right.
Right.
So I don't know, but it's not that she wasn't sure whether they were cool with her or not. It was that she didn't hear the invite be given to John to go back to 34 Fairview. So she didn't hear it extended to herself. So she didn't want to just be like a person who just showed up and was like, oh, here I am. You didn't invite me, but here I am. Like, I wouldn't want to do that either. That's a little sketchy. It's a little weird. And it's like stage 5 clinger status. So it wasn't that she didn't think they were cool with her. She just didn't hear the invitation extended to her. So, yeah. I mean, cracked with a small 5 to 10 pound weight. I've heard that theory too. The weight theory. It's a pretty good one in my opinion. at a time to release John's headlock of a person of interest. I mean, I've heard that one too, with because they did have a weight room in the basement, and so that would be a blunt object.
Was there a YouTube poster down there?
What do you mean?
Down in the cellar? No.
I don't
Another
know.
picture. No, I'm thinking that's another
There's
picture.
pictures. There's
Yeah,
pictures.
no. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of another picture I saw. It was a YouTube poster of something. Forget it.
Yeah, it's a picture. It's the realtor pictures, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Karen did say she wasn't feeling good. But she was waiting for John to tell her what they were doing, basically, whether she was going to bring him home or like, whatever. And so when he didn't answer, she was like, all right, whatever. She still had to go home to the kids. So, I mean, the argument I would have guessed was either about him staying there but again, she was waiting for him. Like even Nagel said that she sat there, she was sitting there and she was in the car by herself with the interior lights on, hands at 10 and 2. So if John wasn't in the car with her and he wasn't outside of the car, where was he? I mean, process of elimination, people. Like, it is. Who is it? Aaron O'Keefe? Paul O'Keefe's wife? Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe.
That last comment was like perfect. Like, because that's what happens. Like that it's a disagreement that two people have. It's not
normal people have those disagreements all the freaking time.
It's not, let's pull the knives out and see who bleeds the most.
No, it's definitely not.
And especially with two reasonable people. John's like the nicest guy there is. I can't see in him being anything but like, accommodating.
Right. True. Like
that's why I don't think he was going there for an after party. I don't think so.
Alcohol always changes things.
Who was Mrs. Peacock? I saw Peacock on the screen.
Aaron O'Keefe. People are speculating it's Aaron O'Keefe, Paul O'Keefe's wife. I don't know. I haven't gotten that confirmation, so I have no idea.
Oh my God, no.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that was Jen looking for the phone after the fight. They knew where Karen was parked and they tossed the phone out there. But again, it was underneath him. So like, unless you're putting it in the exact place you're putting him,
Again, we don't know if they put it in his pocket. We don't know if he had it in his pocket and it fell when they moved him. We don't.
Right. We don't know. Yeah. I'd like to know, obviously.
The geofence data will tell us what happened to that phone.
This comment right here, Chrissy's comment.
It'll tell you what got
everyone's.
What got there.
I like to hear everybody's theories. So, yeah. Hey, if you don't know, you're welcome to ask any questions you want. I'm happy to answer them. Other people are happy to answer them. See, this is the thing, guys.
Help us ask questions.
I like, somebody complained today and was like, oh, I can't watch her show because I let you guys talk too much. Basically because I engage with you guys too much and I answer questions too much. And well, I'm sorry, but like you have to engage with your audience. Well, I don't want my audience to feel like they're ignored and no one's like paying them any mind. Like I want them to know that they're there. I see them, I see their comments and that I want to answer them. Like, so maybe my show's not for you then, if you don't want to see me engage with my audience. Unfortunately, it's the way I run my show. You would be happy to run your own if that's what you want to do. Like, that's okay too. Like, but for me, this is the way I do my show. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I love interacting with the audience.
Me too.
I think it's good.
Why does Jen McCabe wear Brian Albert's hat from the BPD? That's a great, I don't know.
That's weird.
Into the weight machine. That's a good theory too. Being shoved into the laceration was him being shoved into the weight machine. Very real possibility. I mean,
yeah.
And that's it. We all know from what the evidence that we have. I mean, first of all, the autopsy photo speaks for itself, right? That pretty much like says what needs to be said here. But we know that there's no way that Karen did it. Like, and that's so we can definitely have a million theories as to what happened that night will
As long
probably
as one of them isn't involving Karen Reed and Alexis backing up at a high rate of speed in the snow drunk, because that just didn't happen. You gotta throw
right,
that out there. Just that's
right.
removed from the equation.
Yeah, exactly. Exhaustive opining. You got that. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, how would you know? You know what I'm saying? As a family member, how would you even fathom that you're not being told the truth, you know? Like you can't, right? Like you can't. You just literally can't. It sucks, but like Miss Peacock is a woman named Karen Price Matthews. So, she works as the DO. See, I knew she probably worked for the court or I knew it. She works for the DOJ as a legal assistant. Well, that's beautiful. So beautiful. Well, welcome, welcome. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, welcome.
welcome.
You can go back and watch the other videos that she does. She does a really good job with all the stuff that she puts out.
I appreciate that.
Just a heads up.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. I do want everyone to ask questions, obviously, because I want to be able to answer them. And if you're just coming in to this case, you may not know who's who. Someone earlier was like, "Oh, I don't know who's who," and I was like, "Listen, you can email me, you can message me on Facebook, on Twitter, which is called X now. I can't even call it X because it's Twitter. That's what it is. Okay, it's Twitter. But and I'll be happy to sort of explain it to you and like draw the lines on who is who and who's related to who and who knows who and who's a cop and who's not a cop. Like if you're because it gets really confusing when you don't know who is freaking who. Like you know what I'm saying? When you first get into this case, you're like, oh god damn, there's too many fucking characters. This is like a goddamn cartoon. Like what in the actual fuck is happening here?
On the Facebook page, there's a schematic that shows the breakdown of every person and their involvement within the case.
Yeah.
So
there is a schematic.
There's information out there, but it is very hard to keep track of who is actually who, especially coming new. Imagine being here new. God help us, man. The people that are new here must be like just like there's no way. Like you guys are talking nonsense. Like you guys are talking about like Harry Potter magic stuff. It doesn't happen. If you're new here and you hear some of the stuff that we're saying,
I know you're like, what the fuck? Like what?
there's no way. Like you guys are like, how are you making this up?
Yeah. The new timeline. What do you think of the new timeline showing John still in the car at the time the defense claims he was in the home? I mean, here's the thing. I can't trust a prosecution timeline considering they've lied about what time the car was towed. And not only did they lie, but they doubled down on that again in court and then waited for everybody to say for months and months and months, that's not possible because X, Y, and Z happened. And then they had the balls to go in and put a footnote in saying that it was an error. Well, it's not an error if the DA goes in and literally doubles down on it and says, no, it is the right time. And then magically it's an error when it's been proven that there's no possible way it could be that. So like I can't really trust one of their timeline unless you give me a piece of evidence that shows that that's the case. I mean, I can't really take their word for it at this point because their word is shit. Lally lied about contacting the lab numerous times when he didn't. Not only did he not, but he didn't answer an email to them. And then they closed the case. And then he keeps claiming that it's lab protocols that keep holding this stuff from people, from the defense. And there's no way that that's happening because if that was the case, that it, you know what I'm saying? Like he would have contacted the lab and he's not contacting the lab. So there's, that. It's just like they want us to believe some things that couldn't possibly be true at this point. And that's why you can't really trust everything they say unless they have a piece of evidence. Show me the damn evidence. Like give it to me. Like give it to me. Like
let me check something real quick.
Does anybody think that Colin was the one that attacked John? I had heard they had issues being neighbors and had to have
yes.
So there was some words had between them. They were throwing stuff on John's lawn, empty beer cans, I think it was. And John had words with him about the empty beer cans he was throwing on his lawn because he lived next door. He was renting next door. But yeah, they had some words. That did happen. John's old messages from his phone might expose his feelings about his fellow cops, neighbors. Can Karen's lawyer get that access? I'm sure they've asked for or already obtained that because, yes, that would definitely. But again, when you're asking for evidence, it has to be narrowly tailored to something. So you can't just say, like, oh, we want John's phone to look through it and find what we can find because that's a no go. They're not giving that to you. That's a fishing expedition. You have to know what you're looking for and the dates and around about dates and times. And that's half the problem, right? That's why you hire a PI, though, to figure it out for you. Like,
I found something I want to read.
the text with Higgins. Well, I mean, there was text between Karen and Higgins, but again, they must have known each other outside of that. So I don't really know what those texts are relevant for. Again, we haven't seen them, so I have no idea.
They dated. So the fact is communication is not really a shock, right? If she never deleted
Higgins?
her messages.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
No. Listen,
Karen Price. Okay, Karen Price.
I just did a search. How
Yep.
long for dried blood samples to stay viable? Dried blood samples usually stay viable for a few weeks at room temperature.
Well, I think it was 2 to 3 weeks that he held on to or did not held on to. I don't want to say held on to. He didn't enter John's clothes into evidence for a few weeks. So yeah,
That's a problem. That's a massive problem. That taints all evidence.
Appreciate that comment. I mean, this is a good comment. Brian Albert's the common denominator. If Brian Albert didn't exist, John O'Keefe would definitely be liable. He wouldn't have went to that house because what's he gonna do? He's gonna just hang out with Jen McCabe. He wouldn't have went to the house, right? Like if Brian Albert didn't exist. So there's that. Yes, we do have, like, if you want to help out with donations, that's always welcome because it's not cheap to run this channel. But I implore you to actually have a chance to win something with your money and go check out the raffle we have, which starts with a $200 gift card to a inn and spa in Plymouth called the Marabou Inn and Spa. And then it goes on to list. I mean, I listed and put the price of everything, the resale value of everything. And there is the $200 gift certificate, $25 gift card to the Cheesecake Factory, then a slew of beauty, skincare, and all high-end products, and then 2 pieces of cultured pearl jewelry that I drilled and set myself. Beautiful, a ring, and you can either choose a cage bracelet or a pearl drop necklace, one of the two to go with the ring. It'll be your choice because I have a couple different colors and stuff, and you can pick the color pearl for the necklace or the cage bracelet. And there's a couple different cages you could choose from. But 1 ticket is $20, 3 tickets is $50, and 7 tickets for $100. And again, the retail value of the whole thing together is $1,388.50. So you'll be pampering yourself or giving it to someone else to pamper themselves. It's a really good thing. It's only going to be up for a week. I have to make the money quickly. You guys know I'm raising it for a good cause. So but it's due to be in soon. So, but you can do that Cash App, Venmo, Sky, SKYE 3188. Or if you don't have that, you can reach out to me and I'll give you PayPal or Chime. Those are the only other 2 things I have. I don't have Zelle. But if you want to do that, I implore you to do it quickly because it will only be up for a week and then that'll be it. But I mean, it's a good deal. Whoever wins that is going to be one pampered person. And also the first $50 someone is going to donate is going to be matched. So there's that. Definitely get in on the raffle, please.
Do you know what I found something in the Apple Health data?
What?
Jen, she panicked. Her heart rate spikes. Okay. And less than a minute after her heart rate spikes, she Googles how long to digest food. But
yeah,
she
we saw that.
Yeah. But this is her heart rate spikes then. This is like she just went through seeing a dead body of a friend of hers. She invited over to a party not even 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
Her heart rate's not spiking then. It spikes and then she says how long to digest food.
How long to digest food?
That's when her heart rate is
That's
at the highest, is right, and then
I
after
mean, that's
heart rate
definitely
spikes, she Googles that.
I
That's
didn't see the heart rate on it, but that is interesting. Thank you so much for that donation. You guys try to do it on Cash App or Venmo because it takes like a month or something, and you have to hit the threshold on YouTube for super chat, and they only give us, I think it's 40% or 50%, something like that. It's not the whole thing.
you
So try
you're
to do
right.
it on like Cash App or Venmo where I'll actually get like the whole thing. But if you have to do it on super chat, I also appreciate it anyway. Appreciate everything and anything. I love you guys, and you guys are awesome. And obviously, thank you, Tom, for coming and guesting tonight. We have a good
Anytime.
time.
I love it. Love it. You guys are awesome, and the audience is great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good for me to read what they're typing, and they're making me think, and it's
They always
beautiful.
make me think. I love that.
It's
I love that they make me think. That's
it's
how
relaxing.
that's why I love my audience so much, because they make you stop for a second. And I think a lot already as it is. I'm a very intelligent person. You guys know my background, and I'm like a walking freaking encyclopedia. Okay. So like people are like, Elise, what is this and what is this? And usually I can tell you right away. Like, you want to know something, Elise is the person to ask. You ask me and I know, right? Like, and so some of the questions I get, I'm like, I didn't even think, like, and I didn't think of that. And then you start to think a little deeper, and then you think of something that goes with that. That you're like, wait a second. Now I got to look into this, right? Like, and so like that's why when someone was like, oh well, I don't like that you like talk to your audience too much or say hi to people too much, and I'm like, well, that's the way I run my show, because these people watching should get some engagement from me. Yes, I stick to the facts. I do go over the facts numerous times throughout the entire show. We go over a lot of facts. There's a lot of facts in this case. There's a lot of stuff in this case. We go over them over and over and over and over them. But I like engaging with my audience because I want them to know they're not being ignored. They're there. I see you, you're there, and I see your comments. Like I appreciate that. A lot of people have said this, that they think that it was a setup, that being invited to the house was a setup. My theory is that maybe something went wrong quickly, because we know it happened very quickly. It had to have happened very quickly when it happened.
Yeah.
So,
See, I again, I don't see him going over to drink. I see him going over there to get something. Jen promises him something. I got something. I got something's gonna help you out. She's pivotal. She's pivotal. She's the reason he ends up at 34 Fairview. I don't think Brian Albert invited him. I don't see him going over. Hey, buddy, come on over a couple drinks at my house. It was Jen. It was all Jennifer.
well, there's definitely a common denominator on,
It's so strange. It's almost like a mother lion bringing a half injured hyena to the house so that the rest of the cubs can kill it the rest of the way. It's not right. She set
right.
him up. She's responsible for his death more than anybody, because she made sure he was there
Here's
and
here's a
doesn't
good
keep me
one.
home.
And no, nothing has changed in 50 years, unfortunately. But that's what we're here for, right? We're here to make sure it changes, because we're not just going to sit back and allow it to continue without the people who did do this being held accountable. Because, Karen goes to trial, she wins. I don't just disappear after she wins, dude. Like, I want the people who did this to be held responsible, period. End of story. And I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to go away. And I don't think most people are going to be quiet and go away. This is a good comment, though. Procter and Bukaki all over John O'Keefe's clothing for 3 days. And yes, the how long to digest food wasn't auto-write. It was auto-populated in, because she was trying to type something else, and she must have already Googled it at some point, or it was one of the ones that popped up, but that one was an auto-populate.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Morrissey. Yeah, he's Pampers. We call him Pampers over here on my show. We call him Pampers Morrissey. That's his name here. Pampers Morrissey. That Procter wasn't at the crime scene. Yeah, that was another thing. He was never at 34 Fairview on the day of the incident, except he was. So there's that. He's the one who went and collected John's phone. He was there.
We do have a police report for that, though, right? We do. Is that something we do?
Yeah, we have numerous reports that say he was there.
Okay, check.
I am raising money to send my husband to Softball Worlds, which is like
the World Series of everything.
Like the Super Bowl of softball. He's worked really, really hard and qualified to go. It'll probably be the one and only chance he gets to play with his brother there. His brother was also invited. It'll be a great opportunity for him to be seen by professional teams that could pick him up to be a paid player. And he's a phenomenal player. He gave up a full ride baseball scholarship when he was going to go to college to help take care of his nephew instead of going. So, I mean, he deserves it. It's also his birthday week. So I also don't want him sitting here while his entire team is there. And we would never be able to afford it without help at all. Unfortunately, we have a sick kid. One of my daughters has a very rare disease, terminal disease. And then I have a little one who's 5 and a medium one, medium 13. So that we're raising, it's for a good cause. He's worked extremely hard. Elisa, it's Elisa, but you just can call me Elise. It's easier. People call me Elise instead of Elisa because some people can't say Elisa the way it's spelled. It's a lie. I used to get called Eliza, Alicia, Alyssa, all sorts of stuff when I was in school. They could never just read it Elisa. So I was just started introducing myself as Elise. It's much easier. Most people call me Elise. My mother's name is Jen though. So no, don't worry about it. Seriously. It's hard to keep everybody's name, right? I get you. Some of you guys I know by name outside of here, so I know your screen names, and other ones I got to call you your screen names. So yes, please do hit the like. I appreciate that. It also helps other people find the video. So like however you found the video, like it helps other people, like it, YouTube and Facebook, it pushes the algorithm out to allow other people. And if you share the video, that helps it even more. It puts it, it gives the algorithm and kicks it out to recommend it to more people who watch like similar things. Like just my theory, Brian Albert is the obvious choice. However, the obvious is not always correct. And that's true. The obvious is not always correct. See, that's the thing. That's what gets me is the obvious is not always correct. Oh, by the way, hold on. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Oh, come on. Why does it want to do this to me right now? Where did you guys go? Holy crapola. This is not wanting to cooperate with my life at the moment. Let me see. Add to stage. I need to share this. Sorry, I want to show you guys some of this. If you don't have Twitter, so you're not really seeing Coffin Daffer's tweets. If you don't. So
I don't even bother with her. I don't even open up Twitter anymore because of her. I don't even bother. It's a waste.
It's maddening. I'll tell you that. It's maddening. It is 100% maddening. It is. So this little tidbitter here, let me see. Let me get this on the screen here. This tidbit, this little tidbit. Now, this was an article that was written last couple days ago or whatever it was by a woman. And I would have said it was a good article, except she left out some very important things and did not mention a lot of very important things that had to do with the defense proving things like Lally lying about the lab, about Times 100% being wrong with proof. Like there were a lot of big stuff that she left out of this article. And of course, Coffin Daffer posts it on X, which is now used to be called Twitter, and says, for those wanting an unbiased look at the case involving the second-degree murder charges against Karen Read, please see attached article. Except it's not really an unbiased look at the case because they go over like what, the defense thinks, but like they don't dive into any of the things on why they think that, but they do that for the prosecution. So it's like, that's not really unbiased. It's kind of a one-sided article. Like you can cite what all you want, but that doesn't make the article not, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much wrong with the damn article.
It doesn't add valid validity to the article.
Right. And that's half the issue.
Yeah.
That's half the damn freaking issue. Like
this is that Boston.com article.
Yes, it is the Boston.com article.
Yeah, my rear end hurts talking about that.
Chapped asshole. Chapped asshole.
Getting there. Yeah. Something like that.
Well, I mean, it pisses me off. I'll tell you that much. It literally pisses me the fuck off. Like, and I wanted to like scroll down and show you guys some of the crap she writes, but like I don't know what the fuck is going on with my computer right now because it's not wanting to cooperate with me. But some of the crap that she keeps on there,
She's a nightmare. I can't.
she's a fucking nightmare, dude.
Yeah.
Oh wait, here it is. Hold on. Let me go back to it. Let me view. See, why do they keep doing that? Every time I share it with you guys, it doesn't want to let me scroll like at all. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's see. Can you guys see it scrolling now? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So the other thing she posted was that stupid video of Turtle Boy blowing his nose and claimed it was him like doing coke because he took his face off camera to blow his nose, which is like what we normally do. So you guys don't have to like,
You can hear him. He's got a cold. I mean,
right.
talk
And
about running with something and without even knowing.
Again, where was that? What was the source to that? You know what who the source was? Riccio. Like, come on, dude. No, like, come on. So again, you're just regurgitating anything anybody posts and whatever they say, you go with it.
Hey, why
Someone who was in the FBI for fucking 28 years, I'm sorry, but that's sloppy fucking work.
Why can't Brian Riccio just be a nice guy? Why is he going to be a jerk like that?
I know, but here we go. Here it is. Why did I get involved in this case? I was asked by 2 followers. No, I'm pretty sure more than 2 people asked you that, but okay. Why do I stay involved in this case? Because out of every case I have been involved with in 28 years of law enforcement and 7 years of expert witness work and consultation. By the way, she always mentions this, okay? But she didn't do investigations when she was in the FBI. Let's just make that clear.
No, she
didn't do like murder and shit like that. She did not. And also her expert witness stuff, fucking Court TV said she was an expert in data. She's not an expert in data. Not by a long shot. So again, I think she just regurgitates whatever and hopes that it sticks. And it's like, again, if you were in law enforcement that long, shame on you for not doing your job and making sure something is right before you repost it. You're just looking at it and going, oh, this makes him look bad. Repost. Like, even if it's completely false. Like, and I'm sorry, but how can I trust anybody that just does that? Like, you can't. I'm sorry. Like, so she says, this is what she goes on to fucking say.
Wow.
Here she goes with her nonsense. I have never seen such a ravenous group of people following someone hell-bent on making money at the expense of innocents, including a high school kid. I'm sorry, what money does she think we make exactly?
Do you realize I haven't asked for a penny in anything I've made?
Like, I'm over here eating ramen noodles, lady. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, what in the actual, like, what do you think we get paid, lady?
A ravenous group. Is that what we're called? Really?
We're apparently. Like, I don't know what she calls herself, but again, I do my research, lady. I do my research and I make sure if I say something that I don't know that it's real or not, then I don't know. I don't just say it and repost it and call it someone sniffing drugs when they're clearly blowing their nose because they were sick. I mean, come on, dude.
Ravenous. We're ravenous. Oh, we're all just ravenous, right? We're not educated. We're not intelligent, articulated. Really?
It's just utterly ridiculous.
Wow.
Like,
okay. I don't know what she's referring to, because that's not the people that are in our group. She's referring to that other group. That ain't us.
She's referring to anybody following this case.
That's not us. Something.
Like,
yeah, she's talking about the other side, not us.
I appreciate your measly donation. Of course I do. But again, guys, try to do it. Try to do it. Thank you for the $5.
Thank you for that. That's pretty cool.
But again, guys, if you can, try to do it on Cash App and Venmo, because YouTube takes like 40. I only get 40%, I think, of super chats, and I have to wait like a month to get the money. So
wow. This is wrong. This is so
very wrong.
Yeah,
Coffin Dapper and Wendy, they're on the same fucking page here.
At the expense of innocent,
including a high school kid. Okay, he's not in high school anymore. There's that.
Who's the high school kid?
Colin, when he's not in high school anymore. He's an adult and he's not a kid.
Oh boy, I will continue to follow this case and help to put an end to the harassment and libelous falsehoods against innocents.
But wait a second, liable falsehoods. You read that, right? Because that's exactly what she did when she reposted that video and insinuated that Turtle Boy was sniffing coke when he was blowing his nose. Is you posted a liable falsehood and you're claiming other people are I'm sorry, what? There's this thing called receipts and evidence, and we've shown them to you. And what do you do with them? You block
Listen.
anybody who tries to show you said evidence and asks you to explain.
This is the internet. Everyone has an opinion. Not that it means anything.
Like assholes.
Regardless, everyone has an opinion, and they're allowed to, and that's okay. We want people to have opinions, but
Of course.
but we're not this ravenous group that we're hell bent on destroying people and making money at it.
Sorry, like what?
What is this? What this ain't us. This
No.
is not us. This is somebody else.
Well, this is, I don't know what, I think this is just her, you know,
It's
hurrying to her followers that we're all terrible, horrible. You have to remember, people
Listen.
trust her. She's got, 78,000 or whatever the hell it is followers.
I'm sorry, but this lady's ignorant. She's ignorant of the facts.
Yeah, she's very ignorant, very ignorant. And for the amount of time that she spent in law enforcement, shame on her for not doing her fucking homework. Shame.
Her actions don't tell me she was in law enforcement. She was maybe
exactly everything she tweets is a liable falsehood, because everything she fucking tweets, she just retweets from somebody else without actually doing the work of making sure it's true or not. Like,
she wouldn't make it as a dispatcher.
No, she wouldn't make it as a fucking regular cop.
She sent people to the wrong fucking county. She don't know which way to go, this lady.
No. And again, I've spoken to people who work with her who say literally, they put it to me this way. There are people who, work their way up because they're good at what they do. And there are other people who get pushed up because they have to be, because they're either, like me, colored. You're not white, and you're,
keep going. I want to see.
Or you're a woman, right? Like that's, I
can't believe
she didn't do investigative work like that, unfortunately. And she acts like she's a expert in crime scenes, and she's actually not. So there's that. That's another problem I have with it, and that is that people, she leads people to believe that. For those who are aiding, it said, against innocents that swirl around Karen Read, who was indicted for the second-degree murder of Officer O'Keefe. Okay, but where's your being, innocent before guilty? You don't know, because she says that a lot. So I just want to know where that applies here in her fucking statement. For those who are aiding the person below by making false accusations and hurtful comments against John O'Keefe's family and friends, please stay off this page. There are other pages where such rubbish is welcome. DM if you need me to direct you. This page is about facts, truth, and victim advocacy, except you don't have truth. You don't have facts. All you have is what someone else told you. That's not truth and facts. Those are opinions, like assholes. I got plenty of those. Like, they come in every day.
So I should post my video to her page? Is that what she's saying? Because it's facts and truth.
Right. If you have factual case concerns, questions, or points to make, by all means, this is a safe forum. Is it, though? Because anybody who does make a factual case concern, question, or point to her, she blocks or will not respond.
Hold on. Let me check. Hold on. I'm going to, you're making me open Twitter just to mess with this lady.
Like, I'm sorry. How about you tell Bob Mata why you blocked him when he made factual case concerns or questions to you? Well, he's a defense attorney, a very well-rounded one. Why don't you tell me why you blocked Sean? And you refused to respond and then lied about having contact with Sean. Sean has never talked to you. He's tried, but has never spoken with you. And you lied to your followers and said, oh, I've spoken. No, you have not. That is a lie. Like, so again, how can I trust anything you say when you're constantly lying? Anybody she asks a question to her, she blocks. And if you ask her more than once, she'll block you. And it's a legit question. Like, hey, Jen, you're saying this, but that can't be true because this, and this. She either won't answer or blocks you. So how is this? How? Explain. I'd love for you to come on my show and explain, Jennifer. Please, for the love of God, explain. Because she's on a fucking blocking spree. Why don't you show us your block list? How about that? Show us your block list. Just saying. Just want to clear the air real quick, right?
Why would you need a block list on Twitter? I don't understand.
You don't. You just ignore trolls. It's not that difficult. I do it all the time. Like, literally. But again, this is where it's like, are you for real? Like, and then she does what? Tags a bunch of shit. And then it puts this article from the Boston thing in. Like, dude, come on. Stop it.
Yeah.
restricted from doing. Kenny
Didn't
Kieran
lie.
says he's offended that they believe the state is prosecuting the right person, and he's glad he's able to use his platform to shine a light on the case. The beauty of Turtle Boy is that I can do things in an unconventional manner that other journalists are restricted from doing. He says, I love being the center of attention and being theatrical. So what? What's the problem with that? That's who he is. That's his brand. What's the issue?
He does a good job at it.
Here it is, right here. Young Jerk says to her, so you're saying you don't make money as a paid witness? Why is it okay for you to make money off of it? Exactly. So she's saying, oh, people are making money off of this, blah, 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 blah. She just made money off of it, being a expert data when she's not expert in data whatsoever. And that's what she must have told them, because that's what they introduced her on Court TV. And she most certainly made money from that. She didn't do it for free. Her time's worth money, just like mine would be. Like, come on. See, right here. She shows. And Young Jerk show, you are an expert on this, right? No? Yeah, that's you. Oh, Lordy, that's my profession, as I point out on my Twitter intro. Okay, well, guess what? Turtle Boy's profession is the same. He gets paid to do what he does. Also, I don't get paid to do what I do. Those are the 2 first super chats I've ever had on here, because it takes like a month for, like I probably won't get those for like a month and a half. You have to hit like the $100 thing, and then they have to like approve it, and like you get it once a month basically. So I won't get it.
Making you jump through stupid hoops is what
they only do it. They only pay you once a month. YouTube pays you one time a month. So I won't get it until like the 1st of November. Then I only get like 40%. But it's the point is that super chat is the first like super chat I've ever gotten here. Like I don't get paid per view. I don't get ads yet because I have to hit like 1,000 subscribers and like 4,000 watch hours. And then when they do pay you, they pay you pennies. Like, what do you think we're getting? Like millions? Like, lady, you're getting paid thousands, not pennies. Like, so for you to say anything about anybody getting paid, and I don't even get those pennies yet. So like, shut up. Like, you don't make any sense. You're being very hypocritical. But on Twitter, I advocate. I do not get paid for the cases I feature. You do if you've monetized your Twitter, which at that amount of followers, you could monetize. So good. Can we see that your channel's not monetized? Would you like to show us that? Mine's not. I'd be glad to show people that on Twitter.
Be amazing, but see,
right here. This person asks, why House Long to Die in Cold Googled at 2:20
right
whatever a.m. Why did the plow driver not see a body at 3 a.m.? Why didn't the police investigate the home that his body has been found? Why didn't Brian Albert come outside? And she says, hi, Natalie, thank you for your question. Address both issues in lengthy tweets, a quick search, and they will pop up, except she hasn't done that. So again, this is her being like, I'm not answering it by not answering it. Like, come on, dude. All these ads drive me nuts on Twitter. That's all well and good. Assuming anyone believes you. However, the fact that you have not once taken issue with the manner in which the investigation was conducted or how the prosecution's fumble after fumble is telling. And it is. Because if you worked in law enforcement, you would have to agree that they did a fucking shit job. Period. I have addressed the missteps. Please review tweets. No investigation is perfect. That's her response. That's her response.
Wow.
Like, are you fucking for real right now, lady? Stop it.
Wow.
No, you actually do this because you're a friend of the Alberts. If not, you would answer the simple question. Have you talked to anybody in that house that night?
Oh.
No, she says.
Yeah, she talks to Lally.
I politely asked you a question and you always say, I'll get back to you, and you never do. So are you going to answer now? Look at that. And the person has reposted a picture of what doesn't answer. I have, but I can repost. Please do. We have no idea what is or is not being investigated. So to assume it is not is another false assumption. But you assume things all the time. Jennifer, you assume shit all the time. All the time. So what are you talking about? Involved by house by tweeting, or are you working on the case?
Nice.
I advocate on Twitter for the victims in this case and many other cases. So have you talked to the victims in this case? They just asked you that. You said no. You said to talk to nobody in this case.
Young
How are you advocating for victims you haven't talked to? I don't advocate for people who don't ask me to advocate for them. Like what? You get involved to gin up more paid expert witness work. Your profile links twice to your paying gig. How much do you charge a day, Jennifer? Young Jerk.
Wow, nice.
Guarantee you he's blocked now. How much you want to bet he's blocked?
Oh my God.
Oh, here's Riccio. I can't. Turtle Boy is known for uncovering people that lie. this is not new for him. You may just be learning about him because of this case, but it's all he's ever done was expose things that need a further look at. And then here we go with this idiot. I think we all know his penchant for exposing himself with stupid fucking
Oh my word.
comment. Boston.
He doesn't get embarrassed posting that stuff. What a loser.
You've inserted yourself in this case. You're hopefully not involved.
Yep. Yep.
And this is where he posted this. This is a video of him blowing his nose. And you could see the tissue a little. See
Right.
the tissue?
Yeah.
Yep. And then she does what? She
Listen,
reposts it.
He's not
And
doing
then deletes it. It was up for like 48 hours though before she deletes it.
There's no way you can get to that. You can't. That's not even a stretch to say he's doing lines. You can't get there. Wow.
No, actually, you can't. Not anybody with a blue check mark can make ad revenue now. I have a blue check mark, and I'm not eligible for ad revenue. So
I've had Twitter for so long, man.
Believe me, I would love to be. I mean, I don't know. I have like 30 followers on Twitter. It's like because I just made the thing for the Twisted Tragedies Facebook for the podcast. But like,
I don't think I have that.
I don't. I'm not. It literally says that I'm not. I can't yet. So I don't know. I have lots of factual concerns for starters. Why does the state keep changing its theory on how Karen hit John? If a proper investigation was done, wouldn't they know exactly how John was hit? Yes, they would.
Let me guess. See reply. Right? I've replied already, right?
Did you see that Jen McCabe was visiting Michael Proctor's home? ? Yeah, and I guarantee she doesn't reply to any of these because hers, I wouldn't even have to hit see replies. You would see it. It would pop right up.
It says 4 replies, right? Under the little thing to the left.
Under this person's. But what I'm saying is if she replied herself,
yeah,
often ever, I wouldn't have to hit show replies. It would show up right there.
Okay. So she's not answering.
Nope. Could you see that Jen McCabe was visiting Michael Proctor's home? Nothing. Perhaps then you could offer your expertise as to why the investigators neglected to interview the single most important eyewitness, Lucky Lawford, the plow driver, in the case for 18 months. And when they finally did, his sworn testimony is nobody was there at 2:30. She doesn't answer. The first person doesn't answer this person.
Imagine having that as data. Woo!
Innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. To think or say this case isn't loaded with reasonable doubt would question one's credibility. So far, the prosecution is doing an awful job, especially if one blogger, as you put it, has turned this case upside down. What happens if you're wrong? Are you willing to promise you shall never profess nor practice a career as an expert in this field? Because a lot of people are saying she's looking really, really bad on the Koberger case too. So
good.
Please advise if Karen and John arrived at 12:24, according to Waze, and Ryan Nagel pulled up right behind them, and John was hit at 12:25. How did Ryan and Julie Nagel not witness the murder? Why is Jen texting John to pull up behind her after Karen has already fled the scene? Which obviously we know is not true.
Right.
That is so horrific to say to or about his family, someone said. The taillight was broken, which takes incredible force, but the car was damaged in no other way after hitting John. The inquiries don't match the damage to the car. The injuries don't match the damage done to the car. John was not hit by a car. Caused by blunt force trauma. In addition, data from Reed's Lexus retrieved by the state shows that her car went in reverse at a high rate of speed, and then, according to the state's crash reconstruction, no, again, they opined. Remember this. And this is where this person, like people like this, are getting it wrong, because this is not, oh, the state has the data. No, they opined. They guessed. Struck the victim and continued to reverse before. Oh, so she just kept reversing. Actually, she pulled forward out. You idiot. Like, there's that. So there's that. Haters gonna hate. I'm open to your thoughts, but why was McCabe caught at Proctor's house? Anyone? And of course, she doesn't answer that either. So disgusting. Not that it helps, but he said he would take back words if proof. Yeah, so give him the proof. You need to vet your sources better. Someone who lost their kids to DCF and has criminal charges against her. Is there seriously something wrong with you that you can't read between the lines? If this is a cover-up, Karen Reed was clearly set up. And so, like, there are just more like this where, like, again, people ask her, she doesn't answer. Like, it just goes on and on. Just, like, more horrible. I mean, she's not as bad as Wendy Murphy, but loser. Yeah, loser. What a loser. Elon said you could. Yeah, Elon says a lot of stuff. Elon says a lot of shit. Like, yeah. They do both show up at the same time. I noticed that. We do need to protest outside our house. Yeah. This, exactly. We're strong and passionate supporters who are fighting for justice. We do this because we care. We do this because we care. I've been doing this for 18 years. I've been a volunteer advocate for 18 years, helping people behind the scenes, not getting paid a single dime. You can ask anybody I've advocated for. You know? Yeah, anybody who asks legit questions, she does block them. It's sad. Funny how the Jen and Wendy show up at the same time, almost as if a high up office told them to get in there and quash the public questions with their big names. Yeah, except Wendy has like no followers and nobody really even pays attention to her page, honestly, until she says something fucking stupid, which is why she says stupid shit, literally. Like,
I like what Crystal said.
literally. Abolish the FBI. Yeah, well, if you got people like fucking Jennifer Coffindaffer working for you, I'm fucking concerned. Like, I'm concerned. This lady is a loser. Loser. A loser. It's a loser. Yeah. Oh, that was you? Yeah, she won't. She won't. And she will not. She'll continue not to. And then you'll be blocked one day and you're like, oh, why was I blocked? Oh, because I asked a legitimate question. I asked a legitimate question. I mean, with Wendy Murphy, I think she's lost her fucking marbles because the shit that she says, like her whole brand is like for sexual assault victims. And then you're literally saying how Karen Reed's going to get raped in prison and how like you're going to love that. Like,
where's that come from? Who thinks like who thinks that that's even gonna happen? Like, oh
what
my
the
goodness,
fuck?
lady.
What? Like, she was banned from court TV personnel for those comments that she made on Twitter because you're saying you're a sexual assault. Like, that's what you do, right? Is stick up for sexual assault. Like, and then you say some shit like that, then yeah, you're going to be banned from places because people are going to be like, you're a fucking hypocrite. And how can you say something so vile? We can't have you on as an expert. You're a fucking liability, dude. Like, not only that, but all that fucking, this thing she did when she was on mute with Turtle Boy on Court TV. And she was like,
Yeah, she was stroking out.
and they're like, you're on mute, Wendy. We'll unmute you, Wendy. Oh no, that was Surviving the Survivor. That's what it was. It wasn't Court TV. And she's just like, we will unmute you, Wendy, but you gotta get, and she's like still doing.
She's still going at it. Yeah.
Like, dude, they just told you you're muted like multiple times and you're still, and Turtle Boy's in the other box going,
It's like she's doing like aerobics or something over there.
like, what the fuck she was doing, dude? Like, I'm like, I can't. I mean, to be fair, like, I'm not an expert in everything, but I'm literally like a fucking walking encyclopedia. Like, I know a lot about a lot of different things. It's just I'm a knowledge freak. That's what I do. Like, I absorb knowledge and then like I don't just leave it at like I saw one thing about something. Like, I will literally go down that rabbit hole and deep dive. Like, right now, I just decided like a month and a half ago that I was going to start like literally learning about rocket science. No reason whatsoever. And physics. No reason whatsoever. Never had an interest in it, but like I read an article and I was like, okay, some of this I don't understand. So I need to be able to understand what they're saying because I like stuff about space. So I need to be able to know some physics. And so I decided I'm going to learn about some physics. So yeah, exactly. So super bang up job in the Dartmouth case. Super bang up fucking job. Like another form of turtle derangement syndrome. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
These people got me laughing all night long. Like it's these guys have the best humor.
It's fucking great.
It's awesome.
Comments are gold. I'm going to take some of these damn comments and put them on you know what we should do? So we should do. We should take some of these comments and put them on a chalk and bring them to Auntie Bev. She'll love it. Put the chalk down. I'm not going to see the chalk because if you let the public see the chalk first, I'm the judge here and I see the chalk. Lady, it's a fucking public hearing. What does it matter if they see it 7 seconds before you do? It's a public hearing and it's being streamed on Court TV where everybody can see. Who gives a fuck? You care about that, but you don't care about people fucking laughing and clapping in your courtroom when Lally lies on the stand. Cool, got it. Mm-hmm.
She's just banging that gavel. She's banging the gavel.
Banging the gavel. She's banging something else. I don't know what the fuck she's banging, but it ain't the goddamn gavel. Like, that lady needs, like, I pray she takes herself out of this fucking wheelhouse that she keeps keeping herself on it. Because you guys have to remember, every single time she's in the court, she's kept herself on the case. She said, no judge that it was supposed to go to, I'm going to stay here. Why? For what? There's no reason for it. And you're doing a shit job. So there's that. Like,
yeah. By the way,
you suck at your job and you probably shouldn't have been a judge. So that's another thing. Like, you all have to remember, like, people listen to Coffindaffer because she's used to be in the FBI. not all FBI agents are good FBI agents. There are
Oh.
bad FBI agents and shitty FBI agents and shitty cops and shitty judges and shitty lawyers, and there's shitty everything in every profession. So I think people just take her credibility because she used to be in the FBI and she mentions about 800 times a day about how she did it for 28 years. Yeah, about 28 years ago. Like, number one. Number two, everything that comes out of your mouth, you don't research. You don't make sure it's true before you repost it or say it, which is why so many people have gotten on her about the Koberger case because she's been wrong in a lot of it already. Like
a lot of it, and that you can't be wrong on a quadruple murder. I mean, no.
She might have been bukakied.
No.
I mean, that never gets old either. Like you got bukakied. Like you just you pulled a Proctor. Like you have a Lally. Like you could just use those words in unison all the time. Like you pulled a Pampers Morrissey. Like I don't. It is in this case though. It is uncommon because in the way that Dedham Courthouse works, their policy is you are rotated, right? She should have been rotated out already like 3 court hearings ago. And she has inserted herself into the case and kept herself there when she was already supposed to be rotated out to civil court. And so, yes, sometimes judges keep themselves on murder cases, but usually there isn't a movement. Like usually when you're assigned to a case, that's the case you keep. In this courthouse, that's not the way it works. They rotate judges and probably for good fucking reason. Stuff like this. And so she has chosen to take herself out of that rotation where she's supposed to be and continue to keep herself on this case. And so that's a little uncommon, like for this courthouse. I mean, other states run differently. Even other courthouses run differently. But this courthouse, that is their policy. So yes, because she makes the rotation, because she's the head judge over there, she took herself out. No other judge could do that. The other judges who would have had this case would have had no way to insert themselves and keep themselves on this case. They would have been rotated out just as they should be.
Yep.
So that's why it's uncommon and unethical, really. But I mean, yeah, but the feds don't always do a bang up job on everything. You know, it is what it is. O'Shea is a very good judge, though. That's the thing. And a very fair judge. And again, there's a case file for that reason. Like, there's a case file that O'Shea can read. And I mean, I'm sure he can just, brush up on Court TV about what's been happening and then read the rest of the files that he has.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
He won't have a problem getting up to speed if that was the case.
No, that's why the judges are rotated out, because they have everything they need in the file. Before they come into that courtroom, they're supposed to have read everything in the file that has anything to do and brought up to speed by the former judge about what's going on in said case. If they have questions, they can ask the former judge or they can find it in the files. She just decided to keep herself here when she should have been rotated out multiple court dates ago, which is sad. And O'Shea is an actual fair judge, very fair. And again, they probably do it for fresh eyes and to make sure that someone isn't going to get, like, she audibly makes huffs and puffs when the defense is talking. And she does not do that when Lally is talking. And she also makes sure that she sits there and makes snarky remarks to the defense. And usually you'll see if a prosecution is proven to have lied about something or made a mistake that they shouldn't have, the judge will usually ream them out for it or ask for an explanation. She has not one time done that to Lally. But she's inserted herself to yelling at the defense for things that yelling at about. So it's like you can see that she's audibly gasping and like that shows itself a bias. Like O'Shea, I think, was the judge for arraignment. I think, or maybe that was O'Day. I don't know. She's not a very good judge. No, and I mean, if you guys didn't already see the way she fucked up the Chesna trial royally and called a mistrial on it when she could have just replaced the juror with an alternate juror. The juror said, "I'm not going to go and deliberate, Your Honor. I just won't do it." Okay, you're dismissed. Alternate juror, you go deliberate. That's what she should have done. Instead, she called it a mistrial. She bungled the fucking case royally. And Michael Chesna deserved better. He died right near South Shore Hospital. I grew up in that area. Like, shame on her for that one. Like,
A lot of shame on you.
it did take
A
them
lot.
16 years, but they did find him eventually. Like, yeah, well, yeah, she loves to interrupt the defense. Loves it. I mean, the judges do it. They do interrupt, but like the way she does it is just like, okay. Like, if someone wants to object, they're going to object. You don't object for them. That's kind of not how it works. Like, O'Malley. Oh, that's what it was in Stoughton. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, she definitely is 100% unfair. Yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's very bad. Like, it's bad. You can see it. Like, and it's, I mean, there are other cases that she just like, I don't think she's very, no, she's very unprepared, I should say. It doesn't look like she's actually reading what she's supposed to and be prepared by the time she gets to court. It looks like she's literally like just winging it. Like, oh, well, give it to me now, counsel. Like, no, lady, you should have read it 7 days ago. It's in your fucking file. Like, come on, dude. It's, I mean, utterly ridiculous is what it is, but it's, I mean, this is who we got right now, and all we can do is hope that the pressure of the public eye on her stops her from being 100% terrible.
I don't know how she didn't tap out and bail already. I mean,
Okay, see, that is where it shows she was unprepared. Okay. And I will point out exactly why she's an unprepared judge. Okay. For instance, when they were arguing the bail, okay, Yannetti made it very clear that the financials were not the ultimate, like, weren't the main part of his argument. The main part of his argument were a change of circumstances. So when she said, well, I need all the financials and this doesn't cover enough, and he said, well, I still want to make my argument, because his argument wasn't about the financials. It's not whether she does or doesn't have money. That's not what it's about. What it's about is the prosecution, the state, would not have gotten that bail with the false information that they gave. If they had the information, if they didn't lie about stuff, they would not have gotten an $80,000 bail. It would not have been that.
they wouldn't have been even made an arrest.
But what I'm saying, they would have made the arrest because you can indict a fucking, a tuna fish sandwich, but that's not the point. The point is that they wouldn't have got $80,000 in bail. The information that they told was a lie, and it was unreliable. Without that information, that bail never happens at that height. So the money should have been given back to her. And that was the crux of the argument Yannetti was giving. And the judge was just like, well, I need the financials and you need to file them with me. And that's why he withdrew it and was like, no. She was wholly she was not ready to make and another thing is she should have ruled on that right then and there.
Yep.
Approved. There was no reason to deny that motion at all. But again,
just her attitude toward them was uncalled for.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yep. I agree.
I wish I could be there, Chrissy. If you guys live in that area, 4 to 7, stand out the Front Street overpass in Weymouth.
Chrissy, can you send me a message so I remember that one, please? That's not far away from me.
Yep, Tom was nearby.
Yeah, I got the signs.
They did an awesome one today, by the way, over in New Bedford. I couldn't make it there. I didn't have a ride, but they did a good one. And Kristen, who was over there, the New Bedford guide showed up on scene and interviewed her.
The cable guy interviewed her at Star Driving.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
She knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
She's amazing.
Yep. So Kristen did an interview again. The New Bedford Guide showed up and started asking questions. So that's actually on the New Bedford Guide's Facebook page.
Is it really?
It's not on YouTube yet, but it's on the Facebook page. And she does a good 10-minute interview.
Nice.
She hits a lot of the points in the case.
Yep.
So she did a great job for someone who had to do it on the spot like that and just kind of remember everything. There's a lot to this case. So
and she's so articulate and good with everything. Yep. Oh, I'm so glad.
You're on the spot. You're like, all right, shit. Now I gotta go,
Yep.
It's easier when someone's asking you constant questions for you to answer them than to just go on and on and on from beginning to end, because they're so far. I tried to do the overview the other day and it's we got to the middle basically, because it's so fucking much, dude. I am gonna have to make a digital timeline in order to extensively go over it like that, because it's utterly ridiculous. Chrissy needs signs, Tom.
I got him. I'm the sign guy.
He's the sign guy.
Got that.
Hello, Betty. Welcome. Yeah, Tom's the sign guy, so you need signs. He's got you. He
Hi,
makes
Betty. Welcome, Betty.
lots of signs for Karen Reed. So you just let him know. But I mean, this case just gets a little ridiculous in the jumble because there's so much to it, and you're just like, it's so unbelievable that you're like, why the fuck are we still going to a trial here? Why the fuck? Why? I don't understand. Like, and it's like unbelievable that they're doubling and tripling down on it. And it's like, do you want to explain why Jen McCabe was at the lead detective's house just a few days ago when you guys have claimed in court numerous times that he has no connections to any of the witnesses or anyone in this case and no reason to step outside of the investigation except two of the witnesses were at his house that fucking day?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You guys want to explain that maybe? State of Massachusetts, Commonwealth? No?
Two witnesses.
Two, not just one. Two.
That's personal.
Kerry
help.
Roberts was there later on.
But they took Karen where? They took her to Foxborough to get her arraigned and do the perp rock stuff. And
yeah. And they didn't have to. They could have, like, so what usually happens in something like that high profile is like, especially with a cop, is like they'll talk to the defendant's lawyers and she'll go in and surrender. They didn't have to arrest her, do the perp walk. She could have surrendered herself and they didn't have to berate her everywhere. And they did that on purpose. Like, they did it on purpose. Like, it's utterly ridiculous.
True, the defense appealed the motion for the judge. I don't know if they appealed that one, Megan.
They put it in the SJC appeal for the records for the phone for Ryan Albert and Jen McCabe's phone. So it's not really clear. The problem is I think some of it's impounded. So we haven't seen what impounded means is like, we're not seeing all of it. So but here's the thing. They wouldn't have included the motion to recuse. Like, they wouldn't have included everything they had, including the motion to recuse, if it wasn't for a reason. And this one's a motion to recuse / disqualify. And the way it's written as it is says Judge Canoni, like as if it's written to the SJC. So yes, what they did was take the one that was already written from July and put it into the paperwork for the SJC. But I believe some of it is impounded. So we have not seen all of it yet. So there's no appeal paper there, but there's a reason they included that. And I would assume it's because they're asking the SJC to look at it. Yeah. To get a bukkake. Oh, we did do a bukkake real quick. But at least she left her car. Kerry Roberts didn't leave her car. Lindsay Piper came out to talk to her.
She went drive-through.
Yeah, drive-through progress. That's another thing. I'm finding from people who know are saying, yeah, it's another thing. Why haven't we heard the fucking 911 call yet? That's, I'd love to hear that 911 call because I almost guarantee what we're going to hear is Karen screaming, help him, hurry up, or help me, help him, like something like, and it's not going to look good for the prosecution because then you're going to claim that she tried to kill him on purpose, that she's screaming for someone to help him. No, I don't think so. So that I think that's why we haven't heard it yet. We probably won't hear it till trial. Like, yeah, exactly. I'm going to swing by the Proctor's real quick to get bukkake. I'll be back for dinner. Like, drive through bukkake.
Can you imagine if Karen was actually calling John's phone and when she saw him, she dropped the phone and let it ring and go to voicemail and the whole entire interaction?
Oh my God. Imagine.
If they caught that on John's voicemail.
Oh my God, that would be fucking grand.
That would be
but again,
great.
we don't know. We don't know what they got. We're not going to see it till trial. I mean, all we're seeing now is what's already been leaked or what they've filed in files. So, but that's the way the defense has a way of getting out to us. What they're going to say or what they have is by putting it in a filing, which is why I keep fucking waiting for these documents. And I check every day, multiple times a day, and I'm waiting on a document dump, and there's got to be one coming soon. So
I thought we'd see it today. I was hoping to see something.
we got the one for the evidence, but that's it.
No.
And it wasn't anything substantial. So it's like, okay, cool. You guys are saying there's no notes, but I don't fucking believe that for 1 second. There's
Neither do I.
And no notes from the Mass State Police. There's no notes whatsoever.
Nope.
I'm not buying that.
No, it can't happen.
There is no date for a hearing yet. It hasn't been set. The justices can rule on certain things without even hearing oral arguments, just from the written stuff. And they've ruled on a few quick, stupid things, nothing, exciting. But oral arguments have not been set yet. So there's no date set for that yet. Hopefully the SJC puts, the gas on it because they know that they need that ruling before trial. So you'll more than likely see it, obviously before March of 2024, which is when they set the trial for, which I believe will probably get pushed back at this point because her defense team still needs to be able to test all the evidence. That's going to take time. Her
Yep.
experts have to be able to look all the shit.
Money. Look at the money.
Yep, they should have got it last August. Okay, they should have got it last August,
and they got to rush every single sample through to get it ready for it.
So I believe that the trial will be pushed back because they're not going to have enough time to get ready.
Yeah, they won't be able to.
The prosecution's had fucking 21 months holding shit hostage. They don't have another 21 months. They don't even have another fucking 12 months.
Chrissy, go to sleep.
Oh
my God, it's 1:20.
Chrissy, wake up. Oh
God, these guys are hardcore.
Wow. It's like a marathon stream.
Listen, I'm going to set my camera up in my bed too. Pretty good idea, Chrissy.
Chrissy, wake up.
It's getting late.
You can, yeah, you can definitely send it to the DA's office in Canton, the Norfolk County DA's office, absolutely, or the Mass State Police barracks. But the thing is, the barracks, there's numerous barracks, so it would just kind of it would go to your nearest barracks. Your best bet is if you want to send letters and do a letter spree or emails, you send it to the Norfolk County DA's office and let them know that you're not putting up with this shit and that you think it's fucking obscene and that they need to stop. Use Morrissey's own words against him. This needs to stop.
You can also CC.
Chris Albert also said that the other day when he tried to get the harassment order on Turtle Boy and didn't get it. This needs to stop.
You can also CC the chief of police of Canton.
But you can also reach out to your local representative, whoever that is in your area. You can do that too, because maybe, just maybe, if you reach out to them and say this is fucking cockamamie, use that word because they know they're old. They might know that word. Say this is cockamamie bullshit. Say subsequently opining that this is bullshit. But yes, your local reps or the DA's office is your best bet, really. Yes, your elected officials. Me too, kid. Me too. Me fucking too. Me fucking too.
Yeah, everybody is. It's kind of funny how it is like that.
Anybody else got questions, comments? We're going to wrap this up real soon. And if you would be so kind, if you want to make a donation to the channel, you can Cash App or Venmo Sky 3188 SKYE 3188. Or if you want to buy a raffle ticket, our raffle is on the Twisted Tragedies Facebook page and my personal Facebook page. It's $200 spa gift card to Cheesecake Factory, a bunch of really high-end beauty and skincare products, and 2 pieces of cultured pearl jewelry that I drilled and set myself. So 1 ticket for that is $20, 3 tickets is $50, and 7 tickets for $100, and that's only up for a week, so you need to get those while you possibly can. I try to do Cash App or Venmo and not Super Chat because I won't get that money until next month, and I'm trying to raise the money for the 17th of October. So Kathy Murphy, you are loved. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. That's a good question, Jill. We don't hear a lot about Higgins. I mean, he's really just under the water, sort of hiding, just like Brian Albert. I mean, it's actually smart to not be seen. You don't want to be in the public like that, like Chris Albert is, because then you know what I mean? He's been MIA. We haven't seen or heard really anything about him. Colin either. I wonder almost if he transferred to a different college outside of the state, and that's why he dropped out of Bridgewater, is he transferred himself out of the state. It's possible.
Well, far away, like Amherst or something like that.
Somewhere, somewhere.
Way out there, yep.
Anywhere, really. I'm glad you came to the channel, Filthy Rap Blaster. That's awesome. I'm glad you found us.
I want to thank everyone for being here and all the everyone. It's been fun. This is great. You guys are wonderful.
Always wonderful. I love my audience. I love you guys. Make sure that you also, hit the like button and make sure that you share the video, because then that's how other people like Filthy Rap Bastard find us. You guys find us. I don't know how you found us, but, hopefully it's because somebody shared it or YouTube recommended it maybe. I don't know. I'm a small channel. I'm growing, but I'm, small, trying to get there. But it helps. It definitely helps when you hit the like button and when you wait until after the stream and then you go comment on the video and you hit the like button there And when you interact with them, it sort of helps. It helps YouTube and Facebook if you're on Facebook watching, because I'm streaming multiple places, Facebook and YouTube. It helps. It helps like the algorithm kick it out to other people. So I'm glad you found us. We got a couple newbies in here today.
That's awesome.
We got, yep. I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30. I also do Sundays. If Turtle Boy's on Saturday, if he's not on Saturday, I'll do Saturday instead. So I'm actually doing, yeah, I don't do tomorrow. I don't do Tuesday. So Wednesday would be the next stream for us. So catch us Wednesday, of course. But in the meantime, if you catch this on a replay, please do get your raffle tickets, because again, it's only up like a week. We got to raise that money. Cash App and Venmo, all the information and all the prices of everything, the retail value, all of that is on the Twisted Tragedies Facebook page. And it's on my personal Facebook page. And I actually did post some of it to the Twitter, like the pictures of it to the Twitter. So you can check it out on one of those places. And though, if you don't have Cash App or Venmo, I have PayPal. Just reach out to me, send a message, or you can send an email to twistedtragedies3@gmail.com. Yeah, we do. We fill in the gaps. We fill in the gaps. We want to talk about stuff, multiple times a week. We have a good time. We interact, and you guys always have great insight and questions, and I love it.
Yep. It's good.
Well, that's a good thing too, because you're following the case, right? So like you want to listen to things that follow the case. And like, sometimes we do marathon streams. This is probably one of the longest streams I've done. It usually goes between 2 and 3 hours. We're already almost 4 hours, and I don't normally go this long. So you guys kept me busy tonight, dude. You kept me busy. You kept me real, real busy.
My rear end is sore.
Right? My butt is numb. You guys are lucky. I freaking love you all. But I do. If you just found us today, we're a family over here. We're a family, and you just welcome to the family. Legit. We have a good time over here. I might not be as funny tonight as I normally am, but usually I'm on a little bit of a roll, I'm also a little foul-mouthed sometimes. So, it happens, right? It happens. And yes, Chris Albert's a murderer. That's actually true. And when Christy said that shit was the funniest thing I've ever heard, but he actually did kill someone. And then he ran from the scene of that crime. And, they caught him later on in his house and did some jail time, but he did murder someone. He did kill someone in a car, smashed into them, killed them. But that was a good one. That was a good one. Chris Albert, you're a murderer. You guys can catch that if you go watch the Canton Select Board meeting from last Tuesday. It's at the very end. Everything happens at the very, very end, but it's
always
quite entertaining. Quite entertaining. All right. I love you all. And we're going to go. But catch me on Wednesday. Get your raffle tickets. You can always donate or do a raffle ticket. I think there's one spot left on the swag bag thing. You can do that outside of the stream. So if you're catching the stream tomorrow, you can still get all that stuff when I'm not live. So I love you guys, and I will see you guys on Wednesday night at 9:30. Jim Ferris is fucking rude. He's so rude. He calls women whores, and he's rude, and that'll never get fucking old.
A loser.
Guys, he's a loser. Good night, everyone.